My mom is acting jealous with my boyfriend. Now she's trying to break us up.
Ooh.
So starting this off, I, 20 female, met my boyfriend, 20 male, in April of 2023, 18 female and 19 male, and started dating in July. So officially been together for a year and 3 months, but known each other for a year and a half. My mom has never been supportive with any of the guys I've dated, saying things like, "Are you sure? He doesn't really seem like a good match." And I know his parents. I wouldn't continue with that one.
Oh my God.
I know in her head she thinks she's looking out for me and wants what's best for me. But every time she says something like that, it would get into my head and make me question it too.
I get that.
And when my past situationships didn't work out, she'd always be there to tell me it was probably for the best. And the right one would just come along. By the way, this comes from deleted on the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So when she met my now boyfriend, he came over for dinner with the whole family and then stayed for a movie and left. As soon as he closed the door, she immediately said, "He doesn't seem like your type." When he's exactly my type. Don't want to go into too much detail, but he's hardworking, blue-collar guy with dark hair and green eyes. Kind of like Harry Potter.
I was thinking Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson doesn't have green eyes.
Yes, he does.
What? Percy Jackson has green eyes? Green like the sea. He's kind, humble, makes me feel safe just by being in his presence, and just overall has an amazing character. I can say now that I'm completely in love with him, but back then I thought, wow, this guy doesn't seem too bad. Before we were official, he referred to me as his wife.
Whoa.
Not to my face, but his buddies, who then told me
cute.
and told all of them that he was going to marry me. So when he asked me to be his girlfriend in July, I of course said yes right away. And here starts this whole journey. Are we getting a happy story? Are we getting a happy story right now? Let's
with
go.
With a jealous mom, though.
End the stream with a happy note. Come on.
Come on.
Be happy. Come on. It's like I'm shaking dice. I'm like, all right, roll a happy.
Oh, 7.
After we started officially dating, we hung out almost every day at my house. He'd get out of work. His hours are iffy, never knew when he would be done, and would come over no matter if he got out at 5 p.m. or 10 p.m. He'd go home and shower, then came over to see me. He basically conquered the phrase, if he wanted, though, he would.
He freaking would.
He definitely, he's wooding very hard right now. Okay. I had never met a guy that had so much interest in me and put in so much effort to win me over. As he was head over heels for me, I was secretly head over heels for him. And as the girls know, he was everything I wrote in my notes app about. My mom then had her opinions about him, but I didn't care. I really like this guy, and I can see it going further, so I didn't listen to her. He seems all over the place, and he's love bombing you. It will fade. Oh my God.
This mom is the worst.
He gave me a promise
She's jealous.
ring. Yeah, she's just jealous.
She's just jealous of you. Don't listen to her.
Or maybe she's too jealous. Maybe she's going to try to steal him.
Maybe she really likes him. She's like, he's not your time, but he's mine.
And he gave me a promise ring at the end of August, and I loved it, but I could already smell her opinions. And they stink. I was actually kind of scared to show her the ring. I knew I would hear, already? It's too soon. Maybe you guys should just slow down. Her actual reaction was just looking at it, sitting at my finger. Didn't say anything at first, just looked at the ring, then at me, then at the ring, with a neutral, confused expression on her face. Like, oh boy. Here we go. Her actual response was, does his family know? Him and his mom actually went to Jared together to look at them. Oh, Jared. Like, I think it's a
ring store. Oh.
I said, yes, they do. And she put on a fake smile and said, it's pretty.
I
just
hate
said
this mom.
Yeah, she sucks. And went in my room kind of defeated. Knew she would react like that, but it still hurt. Not saying like, I'm happy for you or being excited with me, just her judgment. Fast forward a couple months, I started going over to his house a lot more often than he would come over to mine. I really like it over there. His family is amazing. I think that kind of hurt my mom though. She started jokingly asking if his mom cooks better food than she does, or if my boyfriend was making me feel like I had to go over there. No, it's not. It's just where the wind takes us. I like it over there, so I always ask my boyfriend if it would be okay if I came over instead of him coming here. Doesn't mean he's forcing me to.
Yeah, because she just doesn't like their mom.
Well, if you're going to be like a massive D-bag, of course they're going to go over to the other family.
He's forcing you to come over. It's like, no, you're just forcing me to
away
leave.
From you.
Yeah.
This kind of went on for a while, and I kind of lost motivation to come home on time. She wanted me home by 11, and when I would come home at 11:30, she'd be standing in the entryway with her arms looking at me saying, you're late. Where have
you been? Car gone, bed's
No
empty, no note. Could have been killed.
You could have been seen.
My thought was the Incredibles like turnaround. Like in the Incredibles when Elastigirl, she like spins in the chair.
Oh,
and she's
yeah.
like, Bob.
And I would just have to say, sorry. Then when I would leave the house the next night, I'd say bye to my parents and my mom would just say, be home on time, sternly.
How old is Sophie?
20 female. Boyfriend, 20 male.
Okay, so
But,
it's like, but she was at the time 18.
18 and 19.
Okay. So it like somewhat makes sense why there's a bit of a curfew.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than losing motivation to come home. My heart started to sink every time I pulled
Aw.
into our driveway. And every time I had a day off work, she would be working it. And it was just such a free feeling being home with my sister. We'd be sitting on the living room couch and making food in the kitchen instead of being in our rooms. Currently now, I go over to his house. I don't want him around my toxic family. There's more stuff that has happened with my older siblings, but I never want them to come across this post. Otherwise, they'll know it's me. I still to this day hear comments about how he never comes over, and my mom saying comments about how he isn't trying anymore. Like, did you forget about the first 3 months he came over, even if it was for 10 minutes just to say hi? My older brother, who is single himself, has told me to break up with my boyfriend multiple times since he doesn't put any effort to come over, even though he doesn't know about how our relationship started. I also think it's my mom talking in his ear.
Gotta be. It's gotta be the mom being like, she's not right for him. Also, I just don't think you can really be this critical about the relationship. I feel like mom always says she's like, I can't complain about like your partners because they might turn into your like significant
marriage partners.
Marriage partners.
Yeah. I kept most of our relationship a secret because of my mom. They don't need to know every single little detail about him and our relationship. My mom has added my boyfriend on all socials, including Snapchat, and then replies to his stories.
That's so strange.
Like a picture of the job site they're working on. Then my mom will ask where they're working, trying to make conversation, and it feels like she's trying to maneuver her way in through him since he doesn't come over anymore. When in the beginning stages, she didn't even really try and talk to him or make conversation. Frustrating and confusing, sorry. Even though my mom hasn't held back telling me her concerns, like, does she not want him to know she doesn't like him? I've had multiple conversations with him about my family, and he's met/seen firsthand everyone's personalities. So it's not like they're strangers to him. Anyway, so a couple nights ago, I accidentally fell asleep at his house. No, it's not the first time that this has happened, but I came home in the morning around 6:30. Of course, freaking out because I know my mom will be mad, and walked inside my house. My mom is standing there just looking at me. I said, sorry, I fell asleep. She works, so she hasn't been up all night. And she just looks at me like I'm the scum of the earth, says nothing, and then turns around and walks away. I've been reading posts about the same situation with spending the night at a boyfriend or girlfriend's house and reading that it's her house and I should listen to her rules or not to let her bother me because I'm an adult and she can't tell me what to do kind of thing. But apparently my mom told my sister that she's thinking of giving me two options. I break up with him, that she wants me out of her house. She told my sister she's been wanting to tell me this for a while. So it's basically I break up or get kicked out.
That's crazy.
But she is scared that I'm going to go move in with my boyfriend if she tells me this. Yes, we're a Christian family and I would get shunned for moving in with them, but being shunned or not, I'm not going to inconvenience his family like that. I know I'm welcome over there, but not to the point of moving in. And trust me, if I could afford to move on my own, I would. But why doesn't my mom want to have a conversation with me about it? Why talk about me behind my back to my sister? I don't want to be the one to go up to her since I'm hearing everything she's saying about me. And she probably doesn't know that my sister tells me everything. Makes me overthink about what she's making up or saying about me to the rest of our extended family. Also, a couple weeks ago, my mom got mad at me for spending all day Sunday with him. He works Monday through Saturday, sometimes gets a Saturday off, but I also work every Saturday. So Sunday is the only day we get off that we both know for sure we get off. I left my house at like 8 a.m. and we had an amazing day. Came home around 11 p.m. and my sister is already in my room saying that my mom was mad I wasn't home all day. Ugh.
This is just really, this is really difficult.
Yeah, the mom is not mature at all.
No, not at all. But I mean, like, I think I know like a lot of stories with or just like also just people with parents like this, especially when you're 18, because there is still kind of like, technically you are a legal adult.
Yeah.
But there is still that you are financially dependent.
Yeah.
You're still in the house. So it is still, they're able to kind of assert those rules and stuff.
So for the past couple of weeks, she hasn't been talking to me, giving you the silent treatment. She's like a
ridiculous.
child.
Yeah.
This is why I'm pretty sure she was so mad about me falling asleep at his house a couple nights ago. My boyfriend and I are saving up for a house. We've talked probably too many times, lol, about getting married and half planning when and where it's going to take place. Will my mom relax more after getting married? Who knows? But the way she's reacting to him and treating me, because I'm not home all the time anymore, just really hurts and brings me down. I basically feel like she tied me to a rock and is the only one that has a knife to cut the rope, but she doesn't, based on resentment towards me. Like she's punishing me for trying to be independent. Kind of a random analogy, but I can't wait to move out and start living my life apart from her. There's another relevant update, but Sophia, how do you feel with how overbearing this mom is?
I mean, it's really frustrating. And yeah, I was about to say, Tomlet, as Tomlet said, OP is 20 now. So 2 years have passed of this kind of behavior of her just being hypercritical and hyper controlling. It's very frustrating, but it's also like, just from a purely logistical standpoint, it's like, unfortunately, unless you have the money to move out, you do kind of have to deal with it. Yeah. Which, like, obviously she's not in the right for it, but when you don't have other options, when you don't have
other options, that's your only option.
Yeah. It is very frustrating though.
But there's another relevant update. So I did buy a book called Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents.
I have heard about that.
And yes, there's a lot more to her personality and my siblings' personalities, but let's not get too much into it. And my dad, who doesn't really have an opinion about anything, just go with the flow and no drama kind of guy. And I don't want to tell too specific stories because I'm afraid they'll come across this post. Anyway, thank you for reading all this. And I would love some other opinions and advice on this. I feel like I have a plan to move out, but it's something I think like you'll have to deal with.
Yeah, until that day.
And it doesn't sound like your mom is going to change. You could maybe what would assuage some of her hyper helicopter parenting is if you actually did bring your boyfriend over. Because now it seems like she like didn't want him to come over initially and didn't like him. But maybe if you bring him over, she'll like turn a new leaf. I don't think she necessarily deserves, you to do this, and you do whatever you feel is best. But if you're trying to think about how to get her off your back and how to maybe get on her good side so she's not so like policing, it might be a way to do this so at least in the short term you can deal with it, and then long term still have the plan to get out.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'd love to know what you guys think. Put your answers in the chat in the comments below.
No, not much you can do when you're living with them.
Yeah, it's a little rough, But we got another story for you.
We'll get back to the story, but John, remember when you tortured me by making me export a 24-hour-long video?
Oh, the intern days. Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah.
But now, but the little piece that I love doing it for the people.
Yeah.
I've decided that we should release a 3-hour-long video every single day for them.
That's so generous of you, Riley.
I know that we do it once a week already on our YouTube channel, so
but it's not enough.
It's definitely not enough.
So you're telling me you're going to stay up all night exporting months worth of 3-hour videos?
Oh, not just me. It's going to be me, Keon, and Dakota. Not Sophia. But every single night exporting 3-hour-long videos just for you guys.
Riley respects women. Only men will be exporting these.
That's right.
So if you want to go check them out, go to YouTube, search OK Storytime Compilations for daily 3-hour compilation videos. All right, let's get back to the story.
Am I the a-hole for reuniting with my cheating mother against my dad's wishes?
Of course.
You should stick with your dad. Loyalty. Where's the loyalty? So Exotic Magnifique says, so I, 18 male, was born in Port Said in Egypt. Is that Said? Yeah, that probably is more right. When my mother was 21 and my father was 38. My father had invested into my grandfather's business and helped stop it from failing and getting married to a pretty much his reward. Oh, and getting married was pretty much his reward. We might have like English as a second language kind of deal thing here. So if I trip up, it might be because of that.
Please give me cock.
It sounds icky to think about, but that's how it is in places like that sometimes. So basically, because he worked so hard, he got like the marriage he wanted, I think.
As his reward.
Yeah. When I was 10, my mom admitted to my dad that she'd been having an affair with a guy named Saeed, which is spelled with a Y, not an S-A-I-D.
So maybe it was said.
Maybe it was said.
I was reading said in my brain too.
I think it's Saeed.
Who was 8 years younger than her and asked for a divorce. I guess the guy the dad asked for.
Oh.
Yeah. So mom admitted to dad that she had been having an affair with a guy named Saeed, who was 8 years younger. And the dad's like, ew, divorce.
Cut it.
Ooh.
Well, somehow my dad got actual proof of the divorce beyond just her words. And from what I understand, infidelity can be treated as a serious crime in Egypt. So he got her to agree to a divorce where she gave up full rights to me in exchange for complete silence from him.
Whoa.
Wow.
Later that year, my dad and I moved to Canada, and my mom and Saeed got married.
Ooh, marry the cheater.
Marry the cheater. I wonder if it worked out.
This one is.
Do you hope it worked out, or do you hope it did not?
This is more complicated now that I know that she was a 21-year-old and he was 38. That is a large
that's a large difference.
And was it a situation of like, remember how he was like,
So-
I got married as a reward?
Yeah, so basically his father, who was 38, invested into my grandfather's business. The grandfather is the father of her mother. And because he invested in the business, his reward was this guy's daughter. So essentially she was like, thanks for doing business.
It wasn't like a love marriage. It was
Yeah.
it was
It
an
was a
arranged
business marriage.
A business marriage, yeah.
It was basically kind of like selling his daughter a little bit. That's what it feels like.
I don't know.
Is that not what it feels like? He's like, you invest in my business, I give you my daughter. Is that not a sale?
Yeah.
I don't want to
Doesn't
say
feel
it
good.
like that.
Is that not true? Is that not what is?
I don't know, man.
Is that not, wait. It's a different country, different things.
I just think that the age discrepancy like explains a little bit more of.
Oh, so
why
you're
she
like,
made-
oh, it's okay to give away people.
No, what? No, of
that
why
way,
she cheated.
but-
Yeah, quick conspiracy theory. It's like she was like very young, is like, okay, I'll go along with it. And then like years in the marriage, she's like, this is not for me. I don't feel like I can get out of it. I'm just gonna.
Anyway, so getting back to the story. So Saeed and the mom got married, and then OP and the dad went to Canada. So my mom would write me letters for a bit and mail presents. So I knew that she and Saeed got married, moved to Cairo, where they both got jobs and they had a daughter. From what I've been able to tell from the letters is that she's happy, and I don't really even remember her being that way, which I guess is, I don't know, because she married
left
for
when
love.
she was 10. When OP was 10.
Yeah, and also she left when her mom was in a loveless marriage, a transactional marriage.
I think it's also, I'm wondering if the dad, like OP's dad kind of, because it made it sound like he kind of pressured her to give up full custody.
Well, it sounded like he was like, there was a little bit of blackmail.
Yeah, he
Almost like,
well, yeah, no, it sounded like I will ruin you if you don't give up.
I will report you for a crime.
Yeah.
Sophia Callan says, I'm worth at least the most productive cow for sure.
Yeah, someone said it sounds like when they used to trade like cows. For,
like I will give you 40 goats.
Like a dowry, basically.
Yeah.
There's like an app that shows you how many like camels you're worth.
How can you?
How do you calculate that?
How do you? Yeah.
We'll do that at the end. I'll show you the.
Is there an actual? There's a website.
Yeah.
How many camels am I
I
worth?
want to know how many camels I'm
Me
worth.
too.
How many
We'll do
camels?
0.
How many? Guess. You're worth 0 camels.
No, you're.
Wow.
No.
Dang.
You wouldn't
Wow.
you wouldn't be worth any camels because you're a man.
Camel
You're saying
calculator.
men aren't worth camels?
No,
Yes.
there is a male option.
Whoa.
Okay. All right. Wait. We won't do the camel calculator
Okay.
right now. We'll leave that
That's
for
the
the
reward
end.
at the end.
yeah.
Camel calculator.
Yeah, we're giving away that to you guys.
Yeah.
If you stick around.
That's how many. At the end of this video, you find out how many camels you have to give us for our hand in marriage.
Yeah, and I want you guys to guess. So put your answers, put our initials.
Yeah, but don't be mean.
And what you just said I was worth 0 camels.
Yeah, only she could be me.
Yeah.
That's
Also, I
how-
was saying because you're a man, it's different. You're not worth
because men are worthless.
Yes.
No, it's just
Yes.
Wow,
historically,
Sophia.
you didn't need to be worth camels.
I want to be worth camel. I'm going back to this story. I'm not going to take this camel ridiculousness anymore. Eventually, letters became less frequent, and now I get like 3 a year. I got one earlier this month where she told me how proud she was that I was going to graduate from a Canadian school, and it made me cry.
Oh, this is the mom, right?
This is the mom saying how glad she is that her daughter graduated. Yeah. After graduation, I'm going to Egypt with my uncle to see my family in Port Said, or Said. We don't know how to pronounce that. Port Said. My girlfriend is going too because her family is in some city in the Sinai. And I told my uncle that I want to take some time to go and see my mother. And he seemed uncomfortable with the idea because to him, the idea of the trip was to introduce me and my girlfriend's family to each other so we can get married after university. So it was another marriage thing. He talked to my dad about it, and my dad told me I'd be wrong to go. My dad pointed out that while he'd taken full custody and may have been wrong to do so, my mother had never done anything other than write me a letter. She'd never even tried to add me on social media. She had never come to Canada to visit. She hardly even phoned anymore. When I tried to argue, he started talking about how if she wanted to be with Saeed, she would have divorced the right way. And what she did showed that she didn't think about me. When I told him that I still wanted to meet her, he huffed and said he was disappointed and seemed very sad afterwards. I know she really hurt him, but am I the a-hole for wanting to see her? And there is Port Said. It's pronounced Port Said.
Yeah.
So I was right. Let's go. Let's go.
I can't be right every time.
But we do have an update, May 1st, 2024, which is not that long ago.
Pretty recent.
But Sophia, Riley, John, our beautiful chat, what do you think? Do you think OP is the a-hole by going to see her dad
Mom.
and mom?
Not at all. I think that, it's not that the mom hasn't been, trying to reach out or anything. We have this letter exchange. I also think.
How many letters are you worth?
Oh.
3?
I don't know.
More than 3?
65.
But I think there might have been some kind of fear on the mother's part of, if I do try and have a in-person relationship with my daughter, will my ex-husband follow through on that threat that he made?
Report the crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there might have been that
exactly.
fear.
Yeah.
Breaking an NDA essentially. It's like, I'll come get you for that.
And the worst thing about this NDA is it's totally up to him of what he wants to report. Like he has all the cards. And so if he doesn't like anything that's going on with how the mom is interacting with his child, their child, he could be like, okay, I'm going to expose you.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't seem like there's many rules of engagement.
Yeah.
I didn't fully connect that, but I think you're right. I was also going to say maybe she's just hesitant knowing how it might look to the daughter.
Yeah.
But I think it's more that.
I think
it's very
also
much more that.
it's completely up to OP to make that decision of, do I want to, given all these facts, do I want to have a relationship with my mom? Because it's not a decision that really involves the dad at all.
Yeah. And I think OP, I think if we were to generalize a rule, I think that it is up to the child what kind of relationship they want to have with their parents. And I mean, it's up to each
OP
individual.
Has all of the information.
Yeah. And so I think that it's fine for OP to want to rekindle that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goes to the higher level thing of ultimately you can't control your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, I keep saying daughter. Is it?
It's son.
It's son.
OP is 18 male.
18 male.
Yeah.
But there's an update.
Oh, let's go.
So thankfully I didn't make a big post, so I got a few comments which were focused on being helpful. I did go with my uncle to Port Said, and I did meet with my girlfriend's family, and I think that I won them all over. We're not formally engaged or anything, but we will be in about a year. Egypt is a lot different than I remember as a kid. People are a lot less open and more guarded. My girlfriend's family thought that because I was from Canada, I'd be partial to the MB
marriage
board because apparently immigrant kids are. It was really weird. What's MB?
Wait, go back up a little bit.
What's MB? Someone tell us what MB is.
Let us know.
Okay.
Marital
Yep, we don't know. But it was really weird. But I did go to Cairo to see my mom, even though I promised my dad I wouldn't see my mom. I know that what she did was wrong, and I do resent her for doing it, but I don't want to be the guy who didn't see his mom at all when he was a kid. I mean, if I'm going to get engaged next year, then I want to be a kid then. Then I won't be a kid then. Yeah. I'll have to actually grow up. I don't know. It's a weird thought process, but it's mine. So I convinced my uncle and we went to Cairo. He called my mom to tell her that he wanted to meet her, but he didn't tell her that I was coming because he didn't want word to somehow reach back to my dad. They don't talk, so that was weird, but I didn't bring it up because I was happy that he agreed. So basically, he convinced the uncle and called the mom to kind of like meet. And the uncle and the mom didn't talk because I imagine like the uncle's on the dad's side.
Yeah.
But they did talk. My mom works in finance, 6'5", blue eyes, for one of the biggest film studios for Cairo. So she took the day off when we went, but her husband was at work and her daughter was at school. She's doing some kind of summer classes or something. We went early morning so we could leave before they came back. It's weird because my mom isn't how I remember her exactly. She has short hair and she looks really, really young. She wasn't wearing anything traditional. And weirdest of all is how tall she is. Wait, is she 6'5"?
Blue eyes.
Blue eyes.
Trust fund.
Trust fund.
She was almost, she does have a trust fund too. Because her father's business.
Oh,
we don't know for sure though.
It all
but maybe.
leads back.
Well, I mean, she was given over because the father invested in the grandfather's business.
But did she receive any money?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Was
for
it like
sure.
a dowry situation where she doesn't really get the money?
Well, I mean, wouldn't she stand to inherit it if the grandfather?
That's not.
depends on
It's
the
just not. I don't know if
depends
it's
on
like
the culture.
guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, but it's possible.
Maybe. It's possible.
Also, someone
Definitely
said marriage broker.
Ooh.
I don't think that's it.
Also,
Yeah.
fun fact on the Blue Eyes 6'5" trust fund. This woman did the stats on it, and there are only
there's
two men
yeah.
in America that fit that description.
That are in no way.
Yeah, dude, she did it. She broke down the numbers.
I don't believe that.
I'll show you the video.
Well, you go find one, Sam.
A 6'5"
Find 3.
blue eyes finance guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
With
I
the
don't
trust
know.
fund.
With the trust fund.
Yeah, 6'5" is tough.
6'5" is tough.
6 foot and up probably.
Yeah, you
your
could get
numbers increased by a lot.
massive amount.
Yeah.
I think I only know one person who's 6'7".
I guess I don't know really. I don't have many 6'5" friends. I have like 2 friends that are over 6'5".
I have one 6'5" friend. That's not Riley's dad.
Oh, I guess if I'm friends with Riley's dad, maybe I should. She was almost as tall as me and was taller than my uncle. I mean, obviously as a kid, I thought she was tall, but we all do. But she's legitimately 6'1"
Oh my
or
God.
something. She's
Wow.
tall.
Shout out.
She let me and my uncle in when we went, but she didn't recognize me at first, and it was awkward, so I didn't say anything. But then she suddenly did, and she hugged me and broke down crying and kept saying thank you to my uncle, and she actually fell because it was like her legs couldn't hold her up, and I had to. My uncle excused himself and said he was going to meet with some friends in the city, and it was nice to be alone. And when we were, I started crying too.
Aww.
And I think it was because she kept calling me by all the baby names she had for me in Arabic and saying things like, my heart is back. Aww. After we both calmed down, I asked her why she stopped writing. And she told me that she started hating herself for not being in my life and started believing that I hated her. That she doesn't have social media, so she couldn't find me online, and that email wasn't personal. She eventually tried something drastic, and her husband got her mental health help, which, brought her to a good place. But that led her to writing a lot less. She was sad when I told her that I would be leaving when my uncle came back because we'd be going back to Canada in a few days, but she said it didn't matter because I was still her heart.
Aww.
She promised to write more again. She also said that she knew she couldn't come to Canada for my engagement and my marriage when it happens, but pretty much begged me to live stream them all And that way, my dad won't know. She barely told me anything about her because she kept making me tell her about things I've done, but she did tell me about her job and all the actors that she's met.
Whoa.
Actors.
She has to be a model if she's that tall.
Yeah.
Has to be.
I'm just saying that's.
What are you saying?
Has to be.
If you were 6'1", would you have to be a model?
In the
Okay,
world
if I was a
being
girl and I was
model.
6, if I was a girl and I was 6'1", I'm doing 2 things: 1, being a model, or 2, joining the WNBA.
Let's freaking go.
Why?
Why not? You're tall.
If you're over 6 feet, you can only be a model or in the WNBA.
I'm just saying that's what I would do. What would
That's
you do
my
if you were 6'1" as a girl?
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know
you
if there's
were over
other
6
things that 6 foot and above women can do other than
Because
the
I don't think there's anything else.
I'm just saying that's what I would do if I was 6'1" as a woman. If I was me right now with woman parts, I would be doing that.
All right, let's finish this up and stop talking about Riley's women parts. So it sucked when my uncle came back and I had to go, and we cried, but I felt better about it, even though my uncle made me promise not to tell my dad. Since then, she's been writing to me a lot more, and we've been emailing as well too. She actually sent me a video of her and a top actress in Egypt when she got the actress to say hi to me and my girlfriend.
Wow.
I don't know how many of you are going to read this giant thing that I wrote, but I am thankful for the few of you who helped me out and helped me make my mind up. I guess I felt a lot better since then because I know that my mom loves me. And that is where it ends.
Well, at least 586 people have read that story. So.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
The best ones.
The best ones. The best of the best.
That was a
I
very sweet
liked
story.
that they ended with the reunite, like being reunited.
Yeah, are we on the side of the mom now?
I was
Is the
always
mom
on the
that-
side of the mom, honestly.
Yeah.
What? Even the cheating part?
I didn't like that. I don't condone cheating, but I think there were extenuating circumstances that made me feel for her a little bit more.
And it's also like if
And
you're
also it's a
being
separate issue.
if you're being given away for a business deal, how much actual ability do you have
Agency.
to
Yeah.
get out of a relationship that is not good for you?
Yeah, I'm making an assumption, yeah, but my personal thought on it was like thanks, Riley. My personal thought on it was like maybe she's in this scenario where she can't or doesn't feel like she has any options, and she was, you know, maybe and it's definitely a possibility she wasn't down for it since, you know, it wasn't a love marriage. So
Yeah, and like the only way out was to just do it.
just do it.
Just do it. Just pull the ripcord.
And now she's happy.
And now
Ooh,
she's happy.
And also, Egypt's divorce system has been criticized for being discriminatory and putting women at risk. Women have 2 options for divorce: compulsory mediation and no-fault divorce.
And so what happens in each of those?
I don't know. I would have to look that up. But but my point of that is if there's so few options for divorce, especially when technically she's at fault and it's illegal, like, yeah, I feel like there's
She has no chips.
yeah.
Yeah.
If she had gone for divorce, you know, I think
Right, but you know what else is perfectly timed?
To see how many camels you're worth.
Yeah.
All right, I just set this up. 1 second.
Camels.
Get ready.
Okay,
Woo.
we're gonna start with Sophia.
Okay.
Sophia, how old are you?
22.
22.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How much? What's your height in
How
centimeters?
much height do you have?
5'7". I don't know.
5'7".
I don't know.
5'7". 170.
170.
170?
178.
I was
What's the length of your hair?
I
What color are your eyes?
don't like the next question.
I feel
Brown.
like it's closer to the long one than
they're
the short
brown?
one.
Brown.
What? No, they're
Okay.
not.
Um,
Oh, I guess it is. I don't like that.
which one?
I don't like this.
You have to pick.
No.
All right.
That's not even true.
All right. Are you thin, sporty, normal,
Don't pick
chubby,
the
or fat?
second one. Why are we picking the last
Okay.
one?
I don't know. I don't
Is
know.
that- okay,
I have no idea how big
calculate.
your boobs are.
Don't even consider that.
Okay. Thin, sporty, normal, chubby, or fat?
That one, then calculate.
Which one?
Wait, but is my hair longer?
I think your hair's longer.
Okay. But it's not that long.
Is that like A, B, C, D?
Yeah, I feel like it's closer to B. Because my hair's not long enough.
Oh, I was talking about boob size. Is that like A cup, B cup, C cup, D cup?
Okay, just keep it with the middle one and then calculate it. Everything else.
Calculate. You are worth. Whoa! 62 camels.
Hey.
All right.
Or 62
That's a good amount of camels.
That's fun.
Close. Boo. All right.
That's fun.
All right.
What are you
John.
doing?
Yep. I knew that was coming. All right.
Let's be for real. All right. How tall are you in centimeters? How tall are you?
5'11".
I'm 5'11" too.
I don't think that's true.
You don't think I'm 5'11"?
No.
You're blonde.
Yeah.
I'm blonde, yeah.
Hair length long.
Long.
Blue eyes. Beard. Body.
No. Yeah, we'll go middle, yeah.
All right. Calculate. You were worth. 67 camels.
Freaking
Wait, how many camels was I?
Huh?
How many camels was I?
62, right?
62.
All right.
I think so.
You're worth more camels than me.
Sammy. How tall are you, Sam?
6 foot.
Blonde.
I'm not.
Not
In
blonde.
what world
He
is this
not
blonde?
What?
He has brown
Yeah.
hair.
This is brown.
All right, brown. Hair length. Short. Middle.
Short.
Short.
Middle.
Middle. Blue hair. Blue
For
eyes.
guys, I'd say.
I'm green. I'm closer to green. I'm hazel.
Green. No facial hair. Okay. Body size. This one.
I mean, I'm probably closer to the middle one.
All right, middle one. Calculate.
Champione! Let's go!
How many I am?
You know what I want to go to? Ooh. This next story.
Darn tootin' partner. Let's get into it.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to apologize for not telling my ex-son-in-law about our family's history of mental illness?
Whoa.
So, throwaway No Mayanol says, my 60 female son-in-law, 43 male, and daughter, 43 female, had a very ugly divorce that has resulted in their kids, 18 male, 15 female, 10 male, no longer speaking to their dad, and my ex-sister-in-law's side of the family no longer speaking to us, and refusing to attend any holiday or birthday event for the grandkids if we are involved in any way. My son-in-law spent time in jail for screaming at the judge handling the divorce case, calling him a piece of human trash and enabler of deception, and bragging about writing rants about the judge on.
That's one way to get a terrible sentence.
My daughter was diagnosed with schizophrenia a few years into her marriage. Now her ex demands that my husband and I apologize and pay him damages because he claims we should have told him before the wedding 22 and a half years ago that our family has a history of mental illness.
Insane that, like, you are married for someone so long and then they...
I feel like you should... I do think that partners should disclose medical information, but how is that the parents' fault?
Yeah, I feel like it's more on her for not, unless she didn't know.
Yeah, that's what I wonder too. Yeah, maybe we need more information.
Yeah. No, I don't think either she's at fault. I think it is a good idea to share relevant medical information and like saying my family has a history of this because, checking in, always good.
Ratter says, what happened to sickness and in health?
Yeah.
Also, like I feel it was schizophrenia, right?
Yeah.
There are medications and stuff that you can, use to get that under control.
Yeah. I don't
lithium.
I don't think she's at fault, and I don't think the parents are at fault. I think it's just like smart to disclose that information, but I don't think it's like an a-hole move if she didn't know. At the time of their wedding, my daughter did not show symptoms. My mom, who was already deceased at the time, had schizophrenia. A few relatives in the generation before her also may have had it, but they were in a time where it was hushed up. My husband and I did not have any mental health issues. My daughter gets married, and a few years into it, she shows symptoms and gets diagnosed with schizophrenia. Her ex knew this and continued to be married to her and signing up for fatherhood with her. So why is he complaining?
Yeah. So he found out.
He found out 5 years into it?
And continued married for 22 and a half years, according to what he said earlier.
Yeah, exactly. My daughter found it hard to keep employment and was stifled in her marriage. She filed for divorce, and only then did her mental health become an issue with her ex. He posted rants. Why is he posting all these rants? He wanted an annulment because he was lied to and he wouldn't have married her if he knew she was going to be insane.
Are they posting rants?
He's posting rants
on like
online.
Reddit?
I think like Facebook.
On Facebook.
Facebook.
Did it say Facebook? Yeah.
This is a horrible person. Also,
yes, lithium is for bipolar. There's antipsychotic meds for schizophrenia. I should know that. I literally just listened to a podcast about it.
oh wow.
I know.
But
I'm an expert. I listened to a podcast about it.
I am. Dude.
Great Zoom.
I feel like podcasts are pretty good sources of information.
I think like if I listen to 10 podcasts about a subject, I know more than a PhD.
Yeah. I think if I read a document about something versus listen to a podcast, I think I would learn more from the podcast because of how it's presented. I think I remember information when I retain it more.
I think conversation.
If you've listened to every episode of this show, you basically have a therapy license.
Facts.
And that's a fact.
What about the therapists that went through school and have years of
School?
like experience?
How about the school of life, Riley?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you're not making me mad,
No
but
free
like the
sponsors,
therapists, what do you think they think?
Well,
about the
I think
school of hard
they should
knocks?
watch the show so they could actually get licensed.
Cool.
There you have it. But I was going to say that there's no way that this man could ever... You can't get an annulment after 22 and a half years.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's like after like
He's
a year or
none
something.
of that happened.
Could you
Yes.
quickly break down what annulment is for the people?
Yeah, an annulment.
I know what an annulment is. I can tell it right now.
Do it.
An annulment is basically like an instant reverse almost, where it's like, oh hey, this just happened. We're able to kind of like quickly. It's not like a full like normal divorce procedure. It's just like you very quickly right after the fact, because that's a different scenario than being married for like 10
It's
years.
basically saying the
Okay,
marriage.
John. All right. You got it.
We're done.
I blacked out the screen.
It's saying that the marriage isn't valid. So like a divorce is saying we want to just end, like stop this marriage, whereas an annulment is saying there was something messed
wrong
up,
that.
so it's not
I
actually
realized
valid.
immediately. Oh,
Yeah.
this is wrong. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like you can get like Vegas and marriages annulled because
Yeah, you're
I was drunk
we
and
were drunk,
it
so
was
it didn't actually count.
Didn't count.
Yeah,
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah, that's true.
marriages.
Except marriage licenses.
We're going to Vegas this weekend.
True.
Yeah, where was our
married.
invite, Riley?
Yeah, where was our invite?
Talk to him.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah,
you
John,
should
where
go.
was our invite?
Because you were all like, "Oh, we're going to Vegas this weekend." I was like, "Since when?" And you were
I
like,
seem to
"Since 2
remember
weeks
when
ago."
April invited me camping, I invited both of you nerds.
That is true.
Wow.
Nerd.
Well, dang it.
No,
I'm sorry,
whatever. I
John.
don't even want to go. It's not like I've never been to Las Vegas.
I'm
or
sorry.
something.
Yeah. I didn't even
It's
want to
okay.
go.
We're busy.
But
We have a birthday party to host.
yeah, we have a birthday party to host, so I don't even care. But I'm just saying.
Just saying.
True.
The judge implied.
Where's that Zoom? Zoom in on John. There we go.
Oh wait, I skipped ahead. A lawyer friend told him he did know for years about the family history after my daughter got diagnosed, and didn't ask for an annulment for nearly 2 decades. And California very rarely grants them. Very few lawyers do them. The judge implied my ex's sister-in-law's vocational experts and he himself were untruthful about my daughter's employment prospects and ruled for alimony that had the potential to be renewed indefinitely, since this is a long-term marriage by California standards. What exactly does that mean? Can someone explain that sentence to me?
So I think what it was saying was he was trying to get money out of the marriage by saying like
It was
basically
illegitimate.
like false information to like bend it in his favor for him to get money out of the alimony. That is what I was understanding. Let me know in the comments if I have that right, because I was also a little
that
confused.
sentence means.
But that was my understanding.
Let's see if it makes more sense later. My sister-in-law is furious at having to pay that, and that it's insulting he has to be given a legally mandated amount to send his child. He claims there was never a marriage to begin with. Okay, so he's trying to get out of child support.
Oh,
That's
I
what it
see.
sounds like.
Right.
Now he says we are the real villains because we knew and should have made sure he knew and not just assumed he knew that our daughter could become mentally ill. He said as compensation, we needed to pay for his lawyers and support our daughter, so his alimony is 0 because the judge hates him now because of my lie and will likely extend her alimony forever as their past 10 years of marriage in California.
So
yeah, it's a common law marriage too.
It's not for him to get paid out. It's so he doesn't pay anything out himself.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying
he should have realized he was going to lose from the get-go. Like, this man is an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I told him I'm not apologizing for not revealing privileged medical information that wasn't mine to reveal. Am I the a-hole?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I feel like it's more on the person who has the medical condition to reveal their medical condition to their partner. So if anything,
but
it's
the
like...
thing is that it's not that they didn't reveal their medical condition. They didn't reveal medical history.
Wait, what do you mean? Do they...
OP's daughter did not know that they had schizophrenia, found out, got diagnosed. The husband was informed of this, continue the marriage for another 21 years.
I can't, I don't know if you can put blame on anyone except the husband.
Yeah.
Who's being like really, the extreme stink on this husband is massive. So I don't think OP, like even in his like effed up world, like I was trying to be like, okay, like in the husband's effed up world, like, is there any validity? And there's just like none. There's just absolutely none.
Yeah.
Well, so question. So, OP didn't know about the wife didn't know.
OP's daughter.
OP's daughter
didn't know that she had it. I think she was aware that she had family members who had it.
She was aware she had family members who had it.
I don't know. I mean, I have family members who have diabetes. I don't know if I would like.
Yeah,
Are we at risk for diabetes?
I am, but not any. I mean, I've been checked, so like I'm not.
I don't know if I've been checked for diabetes.
It's more typical in the women in our family. It's also in general more typical for
women.
Yeah.
Honestly, we've talked about.
I
think we've talked about like revealing the medical history and whatnot, but I feel like maybe it's like things that are more obvious and super direct. Like I think there are instances where it can kind of like not like I have multiple people on the spectrum in my family, but like I honestly never considered to like I have informed my partner just through conversation, but not like, oh, hey, to let you know.
If you like forgot about it or like didn't think to say it.
Would you, now that you have read this story, would you say something like, hey, by the way?
I guess, I mean, I already have, but I guess so. Yeah, like it, but I revealed it. It just like in conversation,
which I feel like it would come up like at some point if you're together for a number of years,
22 years or
22
5 years,
it hasn't come up at all. That's crazy.
Happened. Yeah.
But you know what should be coming up right now?
What is that?
Relevant comments?
No, John's first Instagram post.
Oh my God!
Download that.
Get
right
ready.
Now.
Are you freaking ready?
Did you win?
I think he did. Did he win?
Oh wait, yeah. We did a secondary.
So far, 112 votes.
It's true. Even with the ranking vote.
I think mom's watching because she says that she just texted me and said that check brown shirt you wear I hate. Gonna steal it next time you come. I like it, and everyone else does.
Riley have like matching shirts.
Yeah, Riley, go put that shirt on.
What? She doesn't like that one?
Yeah, she doesn't like this one.
Well, mine's long sleeve. It looks. I make any shirt work out though.
Dang.
Okay.
All right,
Shirt daddy over here.
I wore it yesterday. Can I wear a shirt twice? Sam does it. I think so. Yeah,
I do it all
I
the
wear
time.
shirts twice.
I'm the a-hole for telling my mom and dad if they refuse to use the name I gave my baby that I will go low contact.
I feel like they should be using that name.
I mean, it's the baby that they. I mean, it's the baby's name.
It's the baby's name.
No.
What they were just like, oh, he's an Edward. I'm
gonna call him Edward.
Name.
We actually had a story about this like a while ago where the parents refused to use the name, and then OP got mad. But let's see what our
story,
OP says. No.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is C. I'm going to say Carol, and I'm 25 female, and my husband M, or call him Mark, who is 24 male, have been married since 2019 and have one toddler, 3 boy, Nick, and are currently 9 months and about to pop pregnant with our second son.
Wait, they got married when he was 20 and she was 21? Is that right?
Mm-hmm. The main people in this Am I the A-hole are me and my parents, 48 female, mom, who we'll call Beatrice, and 52
Young
male,
mom.
who we'll call bread.
Everyone in this is so young.
Yeah.
Those are young parents.
Got youngins. So I'm the youngest of 6 girls.
What?
Wow, then they start real young.
What?
And I'm the only one who has boys. All my other sisters have girls or no children. So I like to give a bit of a backstory saying I never had a good relationship with my parents. Wasn't Child Protective Services bad, but it was toxic and I was shipped. I didn't mind to be raised by my teen years at my grandmother's.
Gammies.
Now, after I turned 17, I went no contact with my parents due to a bad event that broke the straw and the camel. Plus, I didn't feel the need to be in contact with them since they tried to ruin my name to our extended family, minus the grandparents who knew better than to listen to them. Anyway, fast forward to 2021, and I have my son after graduating from college.
Congratulations.
That's OP. And my parents were in low contact mode after my husband convinced me to try for our son to have grandparents.
So basically, end low contact.
And no contact and go into low contact.
Gotcha.
Mind you, I hadn't said a word to them the whole time. So when they asked about my son, they asked what I named him. And I told them Nick. And my mom was like, why didn't you name him after your dad? I was in shock. Like, what do you expect? Honorifics? When we got back into contact?
Yeah,
like,
we're just in no contact.
Yeah, we just started talking to you. You want me to name my son after you? I just shook it off and said, I don't want to do that. And plus, his father chose the name, and we went with that. He was mad that I didn't at least give him my dad's middle name, which my son's middle name was in honor of my grandpa and my husband's brother who passed right before our son was born. I said, I didn't want to. Drop it. Well, fast forward to 2023, and I find out we're pregnant again with another little boy. And I knew before I got home from the gender reveal what my parents expected. They said, so you're going to name him after your dad, right? I just rolled my eyes and said, no, I don't do first name honorifics. I might do a middle name, but that's it. What's the deal with first name honorifics?
Yeah.
I feel like it's weird to...
You could have been a Frank.
I could have been a Frank. My dad was Frank III. I could have been Frank the Fourth. But my dad doesn't do honorifics.
He doesn't do honorifics. I mean, I guess my name is an honorific.
Two of my brother's names are honorifics.
Yeah.
I didn't get one.
I don't think I would name a child.
Wasn't bestowed the honor.
I don't think I would name my child my name, but I would be okay naming them a family member's name.
Like my
Sam?
name?
No.
Samantha?
No, they can't be like alive.
What? That was such a quick no.
I'd name my kid after you if you were dead.
I don't want to have to deal with naming my child after someone I'm going to see a lot. I'm going to be like, Sam, and you're both going to be like, what? I had to deal with my name being like said a bajillion times because everyone knew a Sophia. And that was too hard.
The only way I would name you after my kid is if you and John died in a car wreck and I had 2 sons.
What? That's what I'm
John
saying.
Sam.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can only do an honorific if they're dead.
All right. Would you what are your thoughts on honorifics? I want to know. Put your answers in the comments. And would you only name your kid an honorific if that person was dead?
And would you name your kid after me?
Yeah, or me.
I have a family member who has a kid named after me.
No way.
Whoa.
Congrats. How's it feel?
You really made an impact.
I've only seen the kid like twice, so I don't know how I really feel about it.
I guess that works in my thing.
In Sophia's matrix of why you should not do honorifics. So anyway, I had already figured out the name, and it was a good old name, and I thought was perfect. Godric.
Gryffindor?
I guess so. Yeah, Godric Gryffindor. I told them later what I was going to do for the first name, and they gave me this really why look.
I mean, if someone came up to me and they're like, yeah, I'm naming my son Godric,
Godric's a sick name.
Yeah, I would probably look at them twice.
You've read Harry Potter like 30 times.
Yeah, but my mind would go Gryffindor.
Because it's a sick name. Godric Gryffindor is dope. Godric's a dope name.
I wouldn't say anything, but I'd just be like, interesting.
All right, Sophia. Well, because you're part of the OK fam. Sophia can go and criticize you and your name choices. I think is a sick name.
No.
Yep. Yeah. There we go.
I forgot.
Yep. Get wrecked, Sophia.
I'm sorry. Godric is a great name.
No. You can't go back. You can't go back.
Her
true colors come out.
I forgot. No.
I told him later
Harry
what I was going to do for the first name, and he gave me this really why look. And my dad said, I'm just going to call him his name, Junior.
That's so weird.
Like, I'm going to call him Sam Jr.
Frank Jr.
Well, I prefer Godric over that.
Trying to keep my composure I said, you are more than welcome to use that as a nickname or use it like how we use Nick's middle name to get his attention when he's in trouble. But when you are introducing him to new people or if you post him, you will use his real name. My dad just said, I'll call him what I want. I barked out a short laugh and said, you will use his name if you want to see him. You do not disrespect my name choice or my boundaries that I have set, or I will drop you both like a hot potato.
Yeah.
Do you think that's true harsh, or do you think that's warranted?
No, I think if my parents were like, I'm not using your child's name, I'd be pretty upset.
Yeah, I would be annoyed. I would be annoyed too. You think I won't? Remember, without my husband, we would not be in contact. So if you want to see us, you will respect our and my wishes. I left the room to signify the conversation was done and not up for debates. When I got home, my husband said he is in full agreement that they should respect your boundaries, but did I have to be so harsh? My oldest sister, 28, has called and said she understands, but I was a bit abrasive. I told her, I don't care if I hurt their feelings because my dad, not for a better lack of words, is a butt, and my mom has no spine with him. I knew if I wasn't stern that they'd try to take over my parenting like they tried with my firstborn. I can't count how many times I have to correct them on certain values I've placed, and I do it gently where they just don't listen. I just say, hey, I don't appreciate that. You just ignored me. I have those rules in place for a reason. But I want to know, am I the a-hole for going low contact if my parents don't respect the name and the boundary? Please let me know.
No, I think you have full rights to go low contact.
Yeah. I mean, a child's name is important.
It's important.
And you can't just say, I don't like it, so I'm going to call him Steve or
That's
Sam
not how it
Jr.
works.
Yeah. I'm just going to actually go to all of my friends' kids and be like
Sam Jr.
but wouldn't Sam Jr. be better?
Yeah, I just don't really like what you chose.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, Ravenclaw, not a fan. I'm going to go with Sam Jr.
Rowena
Ravenclaw got
Helga Hufflepuff.
Salazar Slytherin. Yeah, Salazar. Nah.
Albus Wulfric Brian Dumbledore.
Would you name a kid Albus?
No. I don't even know why Harry named his kid Albus.
Because it was meaningful.
Weird.
What do you mean?
Why did Ginny not get to name
it fit your honorific. He was dead. And
Harry got
honored.
to name all his kids names that meant something to him. Ginny got nothing.
What do you mean? Ginny also
got Luna, but that's it. That was still Harry.
Ginny was also involved in all this. These people meant something to her too. But what would you do? Do you think you would go low contact with your parents if they were refusing to call your child by the right name?
Yeah.
Put your answers in the comments below.
Would my mom be the asshole for leaving my dad after we found out he's only with her to try and take her elderly parents' inheritance? And this is from our OK subreddit.
Whoa, that's crazy. Hate that this happened to you. Yeah, he's an a-hole for sure.
Absolutely.
Taking advantage of old people? Come on.
I just don't understand. We've read a couple of these stories where people stay with will stay with a partner for someone's money, someone in that family's money. I'm like, that's just too long con. I can't do that.
That is too long con.
Yeah. Let's find out about this long.
Sophia's here for a good time, not a long time.
I'm here for a good time, not a long con.
Not a long con.
Not a long con. But let's find out what Lonely Book Nerd 00 has to say about this.
All right.
So this might be long, and I did call into the OKOP phone line with the summary. Ooh, wait.
Ooh.
Do we have that?
Somewhere.
Okay, well, maybe we can call them. But lots has happened since then, so I'll put the full story here because why not? So my parents have been married for 17 years, and my mom told me about how the second they got married, he started treating her horribly.
Dang.
That's awful. He would yell at her for anything and everything. He controlled everything from how she worked, whether it was full-time as a nurse or part-time, their finances, etc. My mom was raised heavily in an ultra-conservative, almost cult-like version of Christianity where divorce is not okay. So instead of leaving him, she thought maybe having kids would change things. It did not change anything.
Yikes.
In fact, he was worse to me as I grew than he was to my mother. Growing up, I had to mediate their screaming matches and take my dad's constant insults and yelling and gaslighting and lying. I'm so sorry. This is horrible. Just an awful father. Then, of course, they had my 2 younger brothers, which I also had to take care of. They have pretty good jobs and never had a problem financially supporting us, but neither could emotionally or mentally raise us, so that job fell to me. As I got older, I slowly started realizing the way I was raised was not normal, but when I would ask my cousins and aunt about it, since I'm pretty close with them, they would say what I was saying couldn't be true. I was probably just being dramatic and stuff because my dad was so nice to them and he always helped them when they needed him. Oh,
yikes. Two-Face.
Yeah, like it's very much, acting horrible behind closed doors and then putting on this facade. Manipulative.
Very manipulative, but good for you for like taking care of your siblings.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Really, that's hard, and I'm sorry you had to deal with that. But
Sophia has to do it with Sam all the time.
Not to that extent.
Okay,
at all.
story time. Okay, story time.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna roast Sam on here. My mom was always terrified to back up what I was saying because then my dad would yell and scream and throw things around. At 15, I snuck out and went to Pride because I'm a bisexual trans man, and I told them I was out with a friend and we went to Pride, so I don't know if that even counts as sneaking out. I just didn't specify where I was going. But yeah, they found out, and because of the reaction, Child and Family Services were called. And that's when my extended family started believing what I was saying about my dad. But they also started to distance themselves from me because they're homophobic and transphobic Christians, and I'm an LGBTQIA+ atheist. I'm very worried because just the fact that, like, we don't obviously know the details, but just the fact that child services were called.
Yeah.
That it must not have gone well. And
very well.
Yeah.
Disappointed in the parents.
I'm disappointed in the parents, and I'm also disappointed in the rest of the family for not. I think it's weird when people don't believe children about these things, because obviously children lie, but like when someone comes up and is like my family is treating me horribly, they're doing this and this, like you gotta look into it.
Yeah, you gotta listen to them, because like sometimes kids don't even know how to like word it.
Exactly, they don't know how to protect themselves, especially when you're like, I think OP is older in this scenario, but like especially when you're a younger child, you don't know how to protect yourself. And especially if it's an adult, mistreating you, there aren't many ways that you can like speak up about it. So the people around you need to listen when you do. CFS decided that homophobic parents raising a queer child was fine, even if they lost their temper once. So at 16, I bought a car since I had been working since I was 14 and moved out of their house without warning them. I had to move back in with them for a brief month because I needed to find a new roommate. My mom begged me to stay, saying my dad was horrible and she couldn't handle living with him without my help and protection from his wrath. I told him that if she left and divorced him, I would absolutely help and support her, but I can't live with him any longer. So I moved out again after that. That was probably the longest bit of background info, but now here's the issue at hand. My grandparents on my mom's side aren't in the best of health and decided to figure out their will. Before we go on, that is a like.
Yeah, that's really tough.
Yeah, we already know this father is horrible, and just the fact that like parents are more okay with their 16-year-old child like moving out than them being queer is bonkers. But let's find out what's going on with the will, because we need that background to know that the father is horrible.
Not a good guy. What's at hand here?
So the grandparents, they have quite a bit of money and close to $1 million cabin.
Ooh, what?
Wow.
Where's this cabin? Yeah. I need to know where this cabin is, because if it's in Tennessee, there's this place called Pigeon Forge Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
A ton of people go there to tour. A ton of tours. And those cabins, oh my gosh, beautiful. I wonder if it's one of those.
Yeah, no. Cabins can be expensive depending on where you get them. When they built it, they bought the materials and my dad coordinated everything and directed my family members into building it. So my dad has decided that he should get at least half of what the cabin is worth. The rest of my family didn't like that, so he screamed at my elderly and sick grandfather about how he should get what he's owed, and my uncle as well got yelled at as well. Then he admitted to my other uncle, my mom's brother, that he's only staying with my mom until he can get what he's owed from our family and my grandparents' inheritance. My entire family is pissed, and my family has a good bit of money.
Yikes.
My mom was concerned about being able to afford a lawyer, and so my extended family is pooling money to buy the best lawyer money could buy. My mom was more inclined to follow through with this divorce, especially since this was the same family that told her divorce wasn't okay, but my mom is wondering if maybe he can change his ways, so she thinks she should wait until he divorces her. So after all this backstory, would my mom be the a-hole for leaving my dad? Absolutely not.
No.
She should definitely leave your dad.
Yeah, and with all the stigmatisms with divorcing everything, she should have left way earlier.
Yeah, no, he's a horrible person, and you should
get out of there.
Absolutely not be there.
Yikes, tough situation.
Yes.
You want to know what else is has been a tough situation around the house here. So Sam and Sophia have this little deal where Sam buys groceries and Sophia makes the food. Yesterday, Sam got lunch that Sophia made.
Yeah.
But what did you make him exactly?
Well, so I come home after, it was like, I had a class. And so I came home at like 2:30 or something.
Yeah.
And he comes in and I'm walking to go do work and he's like, oh, can you make me lunch? And I'm like, we don't have anything. Like, I thought you already made lunch. And so he's like, no, I haven't made any lunch. And so I go in and we only have stuff to make sandwiches. So I made him like a sandwich with like toasted cheese and some like fake deli meat because I don't eat meat. And then he threw a hissy fit and went and told Riley, he's like, look at this thing that she made me. What's this deal? Which is crazy because I told him before that we didn't have a lot of ingredients and I make him great dinners every night.
Yeah. And I mean, like the fact that you get dinners, give him dinners and then like expect lunch. I'm like, yo, like literally, this sounds like a conversation.
Yeah. No, I'm like, just like, I'll make you dinner, but I think lunch and breakfast I can't do both.
So he's going to get some hate here, but from you commenters and our viewers, Sam's buying the groceries. Sophia's making the food. What does that relationship look like? Or what should it look like?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's fair?
What is fair?
How do we fix this?
But I think Sam is being a little ungrateful and should say thank you. And if he doesn't like it, then go somewhere else and get it. And I understand the thing, but I think be grateful for what you get and be happy your sister's near you.
Yeah, he did apologize after.
He did.
So that's good.
We're good now.
But you know what's not chill?
What's that?
This next story.
Whoa! My mom is dating my high school bully, but I won't accept it. I ran away, but 2 years later, she wants to talk. Am I the a-hole?
That voice crack made it sound personal. John, what do you have to tell me? Are you okay? Is your mom getting rizzed up?
No. My dad passed away when I was only 1. It's been me and my mom ever since. As you can guess, my mom and I were very close. When I was a sophomore in high school, my mom got a part-time job as a gym teacher at my school. I supported her when she asked if I would be comfortable with it.
Why? Because she looking so fine?
It was extremely uncomfortable when guys would make comments on my mom's appearance. It also gave ammo to Brad, who bullied me in high school. He would make inappropriate comments about her towards me. Brad was a year ahead of me, so I thought I was finally rid of him after he graduated. I was wrong.
Oh no.
When I became a senior, my mom started going out very often. Initially, I was happy for her because I wanted her to find someone nice. However, it came to a point where we barely got any time together. To be frank, I thought she was avoiding me.
Dude, stop blocking your mom.
This was because whenever I tried to make plans with her, she had already made plans before. I sort of kept it to myself because I didn't want to come off as needy. I didn't complain when she missed my birthday because she was out all night. When she tried to apologize the next day, I told her it was okay. After 6 months of this behavior,
6 months?
I decided to take action. I asked my mom if we could have dinner together, just the two of us. She said she was too busy. I got fed up and I told her to stop ignoring me. She said that she wasn't ignoring me, but that she had a life to live. That really hurt me a lot. Out of anger, I started to ignore her for a few days. After those days passed, she finally apologized to me. However, she said she needed to talk to me about something important.
Mom's about to drop a bombshell, I feel.
Put I see you in the comments.
But I see you if you know what's coming.
She wanted to introduce me to her boyfriend at dinner. She didn't sound excited about it. It sounded like she was almost dreading it. When the doorbell rang, my mom opened it and introduced the guy to me. I was in the most extreme shock.
No.
Was
No.
Brad. I almost screamed at my mom, asking her, what is he doing here? Brad came forward to acknowledge that the situation was uncomfortable, but he's sorry for how he treated me in school and that he really cares about my mom.
Oh my God, that is like the worst thing you could have said.
My mom asked us to sit and let her explain how all of this happened. I remember screaming, I don't give a about your explanation. You tossed me aside for this piece of shit. You're a pathetic excuse of a mother.
Honestly, yeah.
That's pretty rough. My mom then defended him, saying, don't you dare call him that. She then said she tried to accommodate everyone in this tough situation by keeping the relationship away from me. She then said, like it or not, Brad is here to stay.
No way.
If you don't like it, you're more than welcome to leave. I packed my bags right then and there. I called my grandma and told her about the whole situation. She drove to my house and confronted my mom. After a shouting match between them, I left with my grandma. My mom tried calling me several weeks after, but I blocked her. She tried to visit me, but I called the cops on her.
Wow.
Ooh, my man is not playing around. After that, she just sort of gave up. It's been 2 years since I've heard from my mom. I got a call from her yesterday and she said it's urgent and that we need to meet up. And I don't know if I should go.
Oh, tell me there's an update.
There's an update.
Oh my God. I'm wondering if it's a pregnancy announcement.
She said that we could meet for lunch at the restaurant at 12 p.m. When I arrived at the restaurant, unsurprisingly, Brad was sitting there. He didn't even look me in the eye as we sat down. He just nodded his head as if to simply acknowledge my arrival. As my mom sat down, she started shooting out multiple questions. What have you been up to? Are you in school? How's it going? I got annoyed and I told her, stop wasting my time with these questions. What do you want from me?
Yeah, tell me.
My mom burst into tears and begged me to forgive her for hurting me. She then said that these 2 years have been painful for her. Finally, Brad spoke and admitted, she misses you like crazy, dude. She still needs you in her life. Yeah, that'll really convince me.
Dude, you.
My mom said, I'm sorry for being an awful mother. We want to make it up to you. We're moving to California and we want you to come with us. We will foot the bill for your education and everything else. You won't have to work at all and you'll have a permanent place in our home.
What the fuck? What kind of fake promise is this?
I don't know what the hell came to me, but I started laughing like crazy, like a madman. It was the most ridiculous proposition. Now, this is what makes me the monster. This is what I really came there for. After I calmed down, this is what I said to her. Mom, you must be the most delusional cunt if you think I'll ever forgive you. You are dead to me for good. The only acknowledgement you'll get from me is me pissing on your grave when you pass away.
My God. Oh, he's mad.
Then she was hysterically crying. I got her from the table and left the restaurant. Only a minute after walking to the parking lot, I hear my mom screaming at Brad to stop following me. I really wanted this confrontation. The moment he grabs my shirt, I turn around and sucker punch him in the face. He drops on the road with his mouth bleeding. My mom comes to physically restrain me from hurting him until he calms down. I told them, this is what I think about your proposal. It's been 4 hours now after the incident. I know deep down I should be ashamed of myself, but I feel amazing inside. I don't know if adrenaline can last that long. It feels like I took my power back.
Oh my God.
I'm speechless.
I mean, at least he got a punch in. Pretty rough. I feel bad for OP. Like, his mom obviously is not being a good mother.
Yeah.
And he's just frustrated. I would love to know what you would do if your bully started dating your mom. Would you ban her from doing it? Let us know in the comments immediately.
Tell us your stories.
And we'll get into the next one. My son-in-law is letting his disabled son ruin my granddaughter's birthday. I will not sit back idly. I'm going to cause a scene. Am I the a-hole?
What is it with these people, Sam? When will they stop?
My daughter, Ava, just turned 15. Her dad died when she was very little. My daughter, May, remarried a few years ago to a man, Tom, that I wish she hadn't. He has a 13-year-old disabled son, Rob. Tom spoils Rob and neglects all of my granddaughter's needs. Of course, this is May's fault too, and I've gotten to the point where I still love her, but I do not like her. Ava must always take a backseat to Rob. She can't go places that Rob can't go. He's in her wheelchair, so she can't do stuff like camping. I had to fight with May to get her to put her foot down and allow Ava to even play sports in school.
That's wild.
That's crazy. Even then, it falls on me to transport her because May must always be available for Tom's needs. She won't even go to her games because Rob said it will make Tom feel bad. Ava's paternal grandparents had to stop giving Ava money because Tom would force her to give Rob 60% of it because Rob is disabled and needed extra.
I don't understand.
The preferential treatment is crazy. Ava's birthday was coming up, and Tom was clear that the cake and ice cream must be what Rob wants, or else it's unfair. Make sure your birthday is pleasing Rob. He demanded that the cake must be chocolate and the ice cream strawberry, neither of which Ava prefers. The party was at my house, so when I pushed back on this, Tom gave me a spiel about how hard Rob's life is, and he deserves to always get what he wants because he is disabled. My husband's daughter just moved near us recently. She has a 6-year-old daughter with Down syndrome. I asked Ava if she would be interested in inviting them, and she agreed. I knew Dave had some allergies, so I talked to the stepdaughter to make sure the party food was safe for him. He is deathly allergic to strawberries, so I assured her that it was no problem and we would not have strawberry ice cream. Ava was happy about that because I guess she didn't like strawberry ice cream.
Right.
She then asked if there were any other food preferences. Dave might have some. It turns out he doesn't like eating brown.
Oof.
Well, since Dave is younger and frankly more disabled, why is it like the disabled Olympics over here?
Oh, God.
We decided that it would only be fair to make him what he likes. Ava got her red velvet cake and mint ice cream that she wanted. Tom was enraged when he got to my place and saw the food wasn't to his son's specifications. I just told him it was more fair to have what Dave's like because Dave is younger and more disabled. Rob threw a fit and upset Dave with his yelling. I scolded him and told him that it wasn't okay to upset the little disabled boy, and he was being unfair. Then I gave Dave the presents I was forced to buy for Rob because that was more fair. Am I the asshole? Tom is using like the disabled game to win over to Rob's preferences.
Yes.
OP is playing the same game.
Yeah.
But now with Dave preferences.
Yes.
And because Dave is more disabled, the automatically wins.
Yeah.
Based on Rob's logic. So OP is using Rob's logic against him to get what Ava wants. So not the a-hole.
Forget 4D chess. This is like
Yeah, that was a big not to
10D
untie.
chess. My ex is pregnant and she's saying I'm the father. She wants my money, but I refuse to give her a penny. Am I the a-hole? My ex, 25 female, and I, 27 male, were together for about 6 months, but during that time, we were free to see other people. A recipe for a great relationship. Things weren't working out, so we broke up. Over a month after that, she finds out she's pregnant and tells me, baby is mine.
Yikes.
But I already knew she was seeing other guys, so it was possible that the baby isn't. She got mad that I was having doubts, but I said if we got a paternity test and it showed I'm the dad, then yeah, I will 100% be involved. My ex didn't want that, and she'd rather wait until after the baby is born to get a test done. So I said, that's fine if it's her choice, but I won't get involved unless I know that the baby is mine. I already know I could set up for child support if I started helping out now, and then later it's revealed I'm not the father. I live in the US and have heard stuff like this happens. I'd rather not even risk it. She's about 8 months now, and I've started saving up money, reading up on some books, making shopping cart lists of baby clothes and furniture to buy in case I am the father. So it's not like I'm not preparing for this at all.
That's cute.
So right now, money is tight with her since I know she's been only working part-time. She doesn't have the money for a baby bassinet or clothes because she practically lives paycheck to paycheck. She started asking to let her borrow money for baby stuff, but I've told her no. As far as I know, she doesn't have other family she's close to, and friends are the same with her. But I already said that I'll start giving her money and helping out once I know that the son is mine. Otherwise, I'd rather not get involved.
Fair.
I've even told her to reach out to the other guys who could also be the dad, but she said one is even more broke and the other she hasn't been able to contact.
Well, you can't just choose the one who you've been able to contact and is richest.
So right now it seems like I'm the only one actually able to offer financial support.
This is getting more and more sus by the second.
We have a couple mutual friends and I'm getting shit from them because they know that I have the money to help out. She could be the mom of my kid, so the least I could do is provide, they're saying.
Well, let's see. Let's see if she's actually the mother of your child.
Right? They say they would if they had the money. They say that since I do have the means and the baby could be mine, that I should already be helping. They have a point. The baby could be mine and I'll be happy to help out once I know he is in fact mine.
That's a really reasonable request.
But everyone else is seeing it as I'm being too cold and inconsiderate. I don't think I am, but I want to know what others believe. So am I the a-hole?
I want to hear from everyone else first.
Yep. Please.
Come on. You got to do the paternity test. Yeah, they had an open relationship. That's ridiculous.
And she's explained that like, oh, I can't get in contact. The other guy's broke.
It seems like she's just not getting the tests to string this guy along because she's worried that he might not be the father. OP just offered to pay for the test right out.
Yeah.
And then
I don't think that's the issue, though.
I don't think it's the issue, but I think like that might get things moving.
Yeah, because
a
then
little
it's
bit
like,
earlier.
what else could there be?
Yeah, exactly. Because if there's no risk to the baby, probably the only issue is money. And so cover that so you can just, be done with it. Just know or not know.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. My mom is trying to steal my liver to save her life. The thing is, I don't really care if she dies. Am I the a-hole? When I was a kid, my mom was pretty awful to me and my sibling. Resentful, a bit of a bully, never hugged any of us, and mainly told us how we ruined her life. You get the picture. I moved out at 17 to keep my sanity. Sounds like a lovely home life.
So nice.
I'm 28 now and have never had much of a relationship with her after moving out, as she never once admitted that she had done something really effed up to us. My sister is married and has 2 kids. My brother is divorced with 3 kids. I got a call from the hospital that my mom managed to drink her liver out of order and needs a transplant. All of us siblings were found out to be a match. My sister and brother, once they realized that cutting out part of your liver isn't risk-free, backed out. I was told I have something called situs inversus, meaning my organs are abnormally placed, and that it would make the risk of surgery higher for me. 4% risk of death within 2 weeks of surgery, and higher risk of other awful happening. And of course, 100% guarantee that my mother will drink away that liver too.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is you're almost like enabling.
Now, everyone, the doctor, my mom, siblings, everyone is telling me I should do it because I don't have kids. So who cares if the risk is high?
You don't have kids,
Bro,
so you're useless.
You're a waste of human life. You're not popping out babies like a Gatling gun. This pissed me off. My family never valued my lifestyle, as I decided not to do life by the script. I bought a cabin in the wilderness in the north and work from home, so I rarely have to leave my lovely little hideaway. I make enough money to live the life I have always dreamed of. But apparently, that does not count since I don't want kids. And my mom, who never cared if I lived or died, suddenly thinks she deserves my liver because she gave birth to me.
She's a vending machine of organs, you know? It's like B3, liver please.
The fact that she then spent 17 years bullying me is irrelevant because family and kids are a gift from God. Well, f them all. The doctor said to me, well, it is an increased risk, but your mother needs a new liver. At least you don't risk leaving children behind. That. I was so stunned, I forgot the entire Swedish language and just sat there. I'm guessing OP is from Sweden. What did I just hear? And who will care for my pets if I die? OP's a dog mom.
Come on,
you know?
fur babies.
And my mom, I gave you my life. You should do the same for me. After all, I gave you my best years and raising you was no joke. She also gave me 2 fractured ribs and one time locked me out of the house in the middle of winter and I had to smash a window with my hand to get in. I can't believe I even tried, that I agreed to be tested as a donor, as if she would have magically changed. I'm leaving the city tonight, taking the train north, and will hopefully be back in my cozy home tomorrow. When the doctor calls to hear my decision, I might not even pick up.
Cold.
And guess what, John?
What?
There's a freaking update.
Oh, goodness.
OP sent an image of where they live, and it's beautiful. I have spoken to the people involved, my mom, my siblings, and the medical staff, and I'm told everyone that I won't donate a part of my liver to my alcoholic mother. The doctor at the hospital where my mother was treated initially when her liver crashed simply said, I understand, but that also means that I must inform you, you need to prepare to say goodbye to her in a not so distant future. I might not particularly like my mother, but I don't wish death on anyone, so that sucks. But again, she drank her own liver away. It took years of hard work to reach the place where she is now. She's been to several clinics, gotten all sorts of help. She would stay until they stopped treating her with Oxyscan and then check out and start it all over again. So much of the taxpayers' money has been spent and thrown away on her, and she refuses to take any responsibility at all. It's always the nurses or the doctor's fault that she drinks. They don't give me the right treatment. I think she would do the same to any donated liver, and I told the doctor this. My sister said that she understood, and now that things have had time to calm down a bit, she even said that she thinks it's the right thing to do. My brother does not agree with my decision, so maybe donate your own liver, bro.
Come on.
Which actually OP said, and I told him that he can donate a nice slice of his own liver then. But then, of course, he tells me he can't because he's got kids, and it's too much of a risk for him to take. I, on the other hand, am obviously disposable. And my mother. So I honestly can't be bothered to type it out. I phoned her to tell her that she will not be getting my liver. And as expected, she went from jovial to resentful by the drop of a hat. Everything from, I'm your mother, you only get one mother, to, you must be there for family, was thrown at me. She even referred to the fact that I once risked my life for my dog when she went through the ice on a frozen lake, but you won't do this for your mom? No, I will not actually. She said many awful things. I guess I can understand that she's upset and scared, but even I have a limit to how much of that I'm willing to stand. So eventually I just said, I'm done, and I hung up. Not sure what to expect now. Don't really care either. I'm glad that my sister came around. Perhaps my brother will, if given time. Maybe not. Either way, I'm happy to have made my decision clear. Now that it's done, I can get back to enjoying my life far from them all, in the comfort of my home and the company of my awesome dogs.
OP's colder than an iced liver fresh off the surgery.
Colder than her dog when it fell through the ice. I mean, okay, so my question is, If your parent was dying of liver cancer, would you give your liver to them? Let's say they don't have a drinking problem. They just had liver cancer.
Right.
Would you give your liver to your mom or dad? I want to hear what everyone else in the comments says and why. John, you would?
Yeah, I mean, like, my mom is not like this mom. This mom is crazy. Yeah, no, I would definitely do it. But I think it's also an interesting scenario of like putting yourself in OP shoes of like, if this person is your mom, would you do the same thing?
If this person is my mom, I wouldn't. If it was my actual mom, I would give her my liver.
Yeah.
But would you give your liver to your mom? Put your answers in the comments and tell us why. But you know what we love?
We love the thoughts and comments of our beautiful public subscribers. Let me read a few to you. These come from the video Sleeping with My Sister's Husband, Psycho Roommates, and Destroyed Marriages. This comment is from public subscriber Twin Sisters. Sam's voice is my only therapy.
Thank you very much. Also, I am recently Signal.
More reasons to flood Sam's DMs.
I am recently Signal, so please flood DMs at Samuel Donner.
Public subscriber Kira Redholmes says, I kicked my 26 cousin, 40 female, out after a little over a month from my house because she kept pushing my boundaries. Kira, gotta set those boundaries for sure.
Set those boundaries. Come on.
Finally, public subscriber Lynn Perez. OP worker was awesome. Love it. Lynn, we love you and all of our amazing public subscribers. So publicly subscribe, drop a comment, and we just might read it on the next story.
My mom spent $25,000 on a fortune teller to find love. So I screamed at her, no one wants you. Am I the a-hole? This might be a bit messy because my brain is still in shambles from what I just learned, but I'm trying to just make this all understandable. We're off to a great start.
You always know it's good when it starts like that.
So 3 years ago, my 21 female, mom, 47 male, split from my dad, 53 male. Good decision, really. Me and my siblings, who are 17 gender fluid and 14 male, were honestly relieved to have him out of the house for a variety of reasons that are not essential to the story. Around that time, our mom told me and my older sibling that she had been in love with a teacher from the school that I went to, and my siblings still attend for 9 years, 12 by now. We will call him G. Because he knows how to hit that G spot.
Oh, goodness.
Honestly, he's great. Both me and my sibling encouraged her in pursuing a new relationship, and they actually started writing emails back and forth.
That's cute.
That's so cute. Old people writing emails to each other. It went semi-well for a while, but she started to become impatient. I don't even know how else to describe it, but to me and my sibling, it felt like a descent into legit madness. She is sort of a compulsive liar, and over the course of a year, she started to come up with more and more outrageous white lies and plans in order to get close to G. It was the only thing she could talk about. Girl needs a hobby. I didn't mind it in the beginning, and I tried to be supportive, but her entire mood started depending on those emails. She was either sulking and pity-parting for herself if he took a while to respond, or she was scheming how to get him into her life the way she wants him to be.
Red flags.
Red flag city. Six flags right here. I'm talking hours and hours of running the same circles with her and discussing nothing else until late into the night, to the point where me and my siblings were trying to manage all her emotions. It was unbearable, and it started to freak us out. We were barely recognizing our mother anymore. G wasn't all too comfortable either. Apparently, after little over a year, he sent her a message that basically shot down any further contact.
I have a feeling this is not going to end well, Sam.
I think she's going to go bad.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought when I heard about it was, oh, how am I going to get her to cope? It was then that I learned that in love is not the right way to describe what my mom is feeling. She is obsessed with this man, stalker level, foaming at the mouth, obsessed. And for months, I spent every second that I was alone with her going over the words of this last goddamn email, listening to her theories and speculations and whatnot.
Ugh.
It got better after a while when I managed to establish some boundaries. But my mom fell into a borderline depression then, and I felt guilty for abandoning her with her feelings. Still, I thought she was getting over him. She thought.
We always thought.
Why are you thinking? Stop thinking.
Yes, turn that brain off.
A few months ago, the big change happened. Apparently, a woman out of G's social circle called our home and told her that he has feelings for her, but he is worried about his integrity as a teacher, blah, blah, blah. Oh. So he's into it. I was shocked when she told me because I would have bet on a restraining order over a confession. When I say it was like a shark smelling blood in the water, I am not exaggerating. There were the plans again, the theories, the obsession. She even memorized his schedule to run into him, and she wanted me to help. She semi-blackmailed me / bribed me into an agreement and then held my inaction over my head all the time, expecting me to come up with the perfect plan for her.
She's like, hey, you're a teenager, right? Get all your teenager friends in a Scooby-Doo van together to solve the mystery of why he doesn't love me.
I think I'll solve the case. He just doesn't love you. No matter how much I tried to argue with her and hold her back, I could have tried stopping a moving train and it would have been more successful. All that is relevant about this, though, is that she sent G another lengthy email that was just, God, I don't want to say pathetic, but it was. I really want to read this email.
Me too.
Release the email.
Release it.
Today, then, my sibling tells me she saw an email in our mother's inbox from a woman that calls herself a spiritual therapist or some shit, basically saying she is a medium. We know that because my sibling remembered her name and we Googled it. I had such a bad feeling about this, but my gut was screaming at me like never before, so I logged into her email address from my phone. She once gave me her password in case she forgets it. And there were messages with this guru lady going back all the way to when G dumped her. When I read those emails, I was shaking so hard I almost dropped my phone. Almost $25,000 for this fake bitch to connect with G's subconscious. She spent decades paying off her mortgage with my dad. She cries to us about having money issues to the point where my 14-year-old brother had qualms about asking her for a new school backpack because he felt guilty. God, I am so livid just thinking about it. And the best part, the phone call from G's acquaintance wasn't real. It was what that doctor told her. No! I found literal quotes in the emails of things my mom told me the woman in the phone call told her, but it was all that money-hungry scammer. On one hand, I am so angry at my mom for doing this, but I also have extreme pity for her. This guru took advantage of a desperate, vulnerable state and is stringing her along with half-ass costing my mom thousands of dollars. What my mother needs is actual effing therapy. I am completely at my wit's end, but I know this can't keep going. Anyone who can give me advice, please do. It feels like the floor just dropped out from underneath me and I am scared of what will happen next. So the TLDR, my mother is obsessed with a man, and when he shot her down, I just found out she turned to a guru. She is about $25,000 in debt on a minimum wage job with 2 kids to support. Help. So the question is, what should OP do? And also, have any of you ever had experiences with the clairvoyance? And do you even believe in that? And have you ever had any experiences that would either cause you to believe in it or cause you to definitively not believe in it?
Definitely drop your supernatural stories below.
Drop
I want to see those
right now. Tippy tap in those comments. But John, what do you think? Like, what should OP do?
I think the mom needs a specialist to be able to sit down and like figure out what's going on here. Cause like, I have no idea where to begin on a diagnosis or whatever, but maybe a professional could give her a diagnosis, and along with that, what could be done to help her understand and see why this is so insane and why she shouldn't do this. You know what I mean?
It is freaking insane. And what annoys me is like these like fake psychics, like they prey on people, but maybe there's a few clairvoyants in the mix that are actually legit. That's actually where I'd love to store some stories from the OK gang. Like, have you had experiences with fake psychics, with real psychics? We want to know your stories.
That's true. And the only way we can get those stories, Sam, is through our beautiful comments section.
We love our comments, and we love especially the comments of our public subscribers.
That's right. I'm going to read some right now. These come from the video Evicted from My Own House, Called a Satan Worshipper, and Secret Affairs, our weekly recap episode. This comes from public subscriber Saul Rangel. Congrats. I don't know how I got to your show, but I'm pretty sure I was driving, and just for fun, I started listening, and boom, I'm hooked. Keep up the good work.
Hooking you like heroin, baby.
That's right. Thanks, Saul. This one comes from public subscriber Amani Burton. Buying a house with a spouse that you're not married to is not good financially. Amani, thank you for your take and your advice. And we love the stories, advice, and just general musings of all of you beautiful subscribers out there. So publicly subscribe, drop a comment. We just might read it.
My racist mother won't let me have kids with my boyfriend, but what she asked next was even worse. I, female 22, have been dating my boyfriend Luca Luca, male 23. For a little context, Luca is infernal. Luca not shooting bullets anymore.
His gonads said stop.
And the chances of us having our kids are extremely low. I'm well aware of this, and it truly doesn't bother me. I have also never really wanted kids, especially at a young age. Luke and I are on the same page, and we want to live our 20s free of the responsibilities kids bring, so we've been raw-dying it every day. My family, on the other hand, does not agree with our way of thinking. I am the only child and the only one left to continue the bloodline. Oh. In my dad's words, we were having dinner and the conversation over dinner was going well until my mom and grandma brought up the conversation of marriage and children. They asked when we plan to get married and we said, it's not really our priority. Mind you, we had just begun our careers and are in no financial state to even consider a wedding. My mom's rebuttal to my statement was that she would cover any expenses, which also meant she would control everything. I said firmly, no thanks, we'll wait. They also discussed kids and said we'd have to have them quickly because my fertility clock is a ticking. How early you want to have them, bro? Luca told them that it was okay because actually he was infertile.
Bomb drop.
My mom goes, so you won't be giving me proper grandchildren? She then goes, and I quote, I already accepted that my grandchild won't be pure with your genes, and now you say you can't have it at all? I blew up and asked what she meant by pure, and that she was being completely disrespectful to us. Luca is Cuban and has a darker complexion, which my family seems to find issue with. Damn, racist family. God. I've come to find out that they have been bad-mouthing us behind our backs. She said that we have never had a mixed child in the family. Bro, you all mixed up in the head. Luca then asked if we were to have a kid, would they not love it because it wouldn't be white? They called him rude for insinuating such a thing.
Whoa. What?
Oh, yeah, he's the rude one.
Lucas just picking up what you're putting down. I backed him up and said if we have kids or not is up to us and told them that they were out of line. She also added that if we adopt, we'd ruin our family tree and it wouldn't be legit. I stood up and left with Luca, ending the conversation with you're a bunch of effed up assholes. That night, I received a text from my mom. She started by saying I was ungrateful and I am a disgrace to the family.
There's this little thing called a mirror, lady.
Yeah, look in it. She's saying I should be ashamed of how I spoke to her and that she deserves an apology. She called me after I left her on red and said I'm being brainwashed by Luca. She says she can arrange an artificial insemination with one of her friend's white sons. I called her a lunatic and said she was a I called her a racist who I'm frankly ashamed to call my mother. She cried and hung up, and I received a text from dad saying I took it too far. I'm not allowed back in their home if I don't plead for their forgiveness and oblige by their standards. I replied, F you, and blocked them both. There's also an update. So please tippy tap. What do you think? Is OP the a-hole? Want to know your opinions on this, but John, what do you think?
At the end of the day, if your parents are not going to accept your partner, the person you love, A, for who they are, and then B, their children because they're racist, until they actually like sit down and like admit their wrongs and find their faults and like try and grow from it. Hey, all right, give them a chance to grow. Sure.
Yeah, but they're still asking for an apology for them. So they don't even realize they effed up.
They're so far gone.
First, thank you for the supportive advice and sweet words. I showed Luca the post and he sat there reading and dying at some of the responses. He has never liked my family, to be fair, but put up with them for me. I'd choose him over them any day of the week. We also informed his mom, whose English isn't the best, we had to translate it, and she said that I have a family with her and to forget about mine. That's actually really sweet.
That is sweet.
She is the true definition of a good mother and has shown me more unconditional love than my mother has in 22 years of my life. She's also been teaching me Spanish and how to cook Cuban food, which is kind of giving a light in this whole situation. I've gone completely no contact with my family as of today. This incident occurred about a week ago. Luke and I have been looking for a place together, and my family will not be knowing where that is. An update on the situation, my cousin, mom's side, who's a put nicely, seemed to have found out my post and sent it to my parents and aunt. Frankly, I don't give a because I kind of hoped they'd see the comments. They told her to tell me I was being an entitled and I shouldn't add fuel to the fire. They said that what they said isn't wrong in their eyes, and the comments made them cry. They still don't understand how do they not know? They added, how could I respect them when they raised me to be who I am, which is a load of BS. I'm nothing like my parents, thank God, and learned to make my own choices as a teen. My cousin told me I was a traitor and to go to hell. I told her I just left hell and I don't plan on going back. Mic drop. What do you think? Did OP go too far? Did OP not go far enough? Put your answers in the comments. But John, bring us home. Is OP the a-hole?
OP, absolutely not the a-hole at all. I mean, look, one adjustment you could say, like, if you ever want to be in my life again, you need to come back with a full apology and actually be ready to understand why you're so wrong, why you're racist.
But I think it's also important to realize that, like, racism is a product of their environment. These people may have never known the error of their ways until their daughter brought this new person into their lives. And that doesn't mean you have to be there for their education.
Yeah.
If they apologize and learn, you can leave that door open. But it also is not something that you have to do either.
Shout out to you, OP.
But what do? Do you think we're off base? Put your answers in the comments below. It turns out my sister is actually my mom. I thought that was the biggest lie until I found out who my father was. We love reading our subscribers' takes when they comment on our stories. And there was a story about this guy's girlfriend meeting his two dads. And subscriber Mel's Waldo says, as far as story 3 is concerned, I would ask for more info. It is possible that maybe the parents are super conservatives and would ban the relationship with a boy with two dads. I don't know if it is entirely on her, which is my point. I mean, I see what you're saying here, but ultimately, like stand up to your parents, you know?
You have your own life at the end of the day, and this is your partner.
I guess it might have been uncomfortable if they were like super religious or conservative, but if you care about this person, who gives a fuck?
That's right.
Well, we give a fuck about you. Also, if you want us to read your comment, make sure to comment and subscribe.
Yes.
My sister, 40 female, has been ignoring me, 21 male, for 5 months since finding out that Grace is not my sister. She's my biological mom, and after finding this out, my whole life has been an effing mess. My parents pretended to be my parents because from what they told me, it was better that way for everyone since Grace wasn't ready to be a mom. I've been wanting to hear her side ever since, but she decided to block me. My parents, quote unquote, have not talked to her because Grace wants to drop this and not bring this to her husband. So her husband doesn't know. They live in another state, so they're not close at all, but she basically didn't want this getting to her husband. I kept asking her to please just sit down with me once so I could hear her side.
A fair request. It's like, hey, you know that lie you told me in my whole life? Can I just understand what's going on?
But she's been silent ever since. Why I'm asking if I'm the a-hole is because the other weekend, me and my cousin had beers at his house. Me being drunk as I started crying about everything going on, and he asked me what's wrong. And so I told him everything. Shit blew up. Oof. Nobody in my family knew about this.
That's an insane secret to keep.
For like 9 months, did they just hide Grace away while she was pregnant?
Yeah, you're right.
Like, how did they hide that?
Oh, Grace, you know, she's
getting fat. He texted his mom that same night. Next morning, I'm waking up to everyone blowing up my phone, even my quote unquote parents too. Now, everybody in the family knows that they've even reached out to Grace on my behalf, telling her if I want to talk to her, that she at least owes me that. I feel like the cousin, like a little breach of trust. The whole thing couldn't be kept a secret from her husband. He knows now too, because she called my parents crying that they had a big fight. He's so mad that he's staying at his parents. She's saying it's my fault for not letting it go. How can OP let this go? It's his whole life. Come on.
God.
And now it seems like everything in her life is falling apart, including my parents, because everyone's coming down on them too for lying this whole time. I know none of that would have happened if it hadn't been for me saying something, but also I feel that after I was the one who got lied to, I was owed some answers. So, am I the a-hole? There's an update to the story, but John, what do you think?
Not the a-hole at all. I think, like you said, the cousin who spilled the beans, you can put some a-hole points on him.
I would love to know what everyone else thinks, because that's a little bit more of a gray area.
And then, obviously, the mom is the a-hole. And I'll give it to the grandparents. A-hole too. They knew the whole time and never revealed it. I think, if anything, they should have been like, we're telling him at 18.
Well, has gotten really crazy since the last post. I appreciate everyone saying that this was my truth to tell and being really supportive of everything going on. I told my family to back off on Grace because even though they had good intentions defending me, it still wasn't okay. My cousin also apologized too. So the craziness that happened. Grace's soon-to-be ex-husband literally flew over to talk in person, telling me he thinks that he's my dad.
Oh.
He told me about what him and Grace talked about when he left. How does he not know? Thing is, they were a couple before I was born, broke up because he was going to college far away. Then years later, they met again and so on, and I never knew this. He didn't connect the dots because who would? But since he learned she's my mom and she went this far to hide it, he wanted to know for sure. We both cried after doing a paternity test that came back positive.
Oh.
We didn't talk for a day. After I went through another whole-ass existential crisis for days, we met again. He told me he's sorry for not knowing because he would have taken responsibility of me if Grace didn't want that. Then we both cried again. I finally talked with her too once this was all out. She was the one who reached out to me, so I don't need to say I bullied her into it. Her truth was she wasn't ready to be a single mom. My grandparents supported her terminating, at least they were honest about that, but she changed her mind and still didn't tell him. She never thought she'd see him again anyway. By the time they met and restarted their relationship, it was already a few years since she gave me to my grandparents, so to her, there wasn't a point to tell him anymore. Also because she knew he was going to want custody if he knew I'm his son, and she moved on from the thought of having kids. Their relationship basically wouldn't have survived, and now it hasn't. He's so mad at her because he had a right to be in my life.
Right.
It's just a mess.
Yeah.
I'm mad / hurt they kept us from knowing about this. Now she says she's sorry, but after learning how far this lie went, I can't with any of them right now. To her or my grandparents, it's just too much. I know they keep reaching out to apologize for everything, but it's just too painful. Small bright side though. Me and him are talking. It was weird as first, but we are getting more used to it. He's known me since I was like 9. I know he's a good guy. He just never thought he was my biological dad. And he really seems like he wants us to be closer than before. I can tell it hurts him too when he's looking at me. It's sad. So for now, we're going to try to go with the flow. Going to be needing some serious therapy after this. There's so much going on in my head, but at least I've got something. Okay, I need to know what you think. Who's like the biggest a-hole in the story?
Yeah.
Is it Grace at 18? Is it the parents or the grandparents for hiding this whole thing? Is it the cousin? Who do you think is the biggest asshole at play? Or is it someone I didn't mention? I would love to know what the order of the assholes are.
Yeah.
But John, what do you think?
I'm just kind of confused by, I guess she said that Tim would want custody if he knew, but I'm like, why didn't you tell him? Because they split amicably, it sounds like, just because of like location, essentially. This is his child. This was half of his result of his actions too. So it's like, I feel like it's also his responsibility.
Yeah. It's a weird decision.
We have been reading a lot of comments lately from publicly subscribed commenters, and I want to read you guys one right now.
Those are our favorite.
This one comes from my sister kicked me out of her wedding party because I'm divorced. Gotta love these crazy scenarios.
So bad.
Josh Scott 5213 says, saved her sister from future divorce. Then Sparkle Rebel replies, actually, from the sound of it, John/Keith sounds like he doesn't believe in divorce, so she would probably have to get one of those really expensive divorces where it doesn't require the other spouse's consent or signature.
I didn't even realize that was a thing.
My cousin's then wife almost got one because my cousin pulled this. I basically don't believe in the divorce BS where you're trying to hold someone in a marriage. I don't know what happened, but he finally relented and signed the papers. Well, at least glad to hear that was
all
resolved.
got worked out.
Guys, publicly subscribe, share your comments, and we look forward to reading more in the future. I want to break up with my boyfriend because his mom told me to not speak unless spoken to.
I want to break free.
My boyfriend, 32 male, and I, 27 female, have been friends for 5+ years and close friends for 3+ years. And a little over 2 years ago, we began hooking up.
I like when like relationships start as friendships. That's fun.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Both agreed that we didn't want a relationship at the time. It didn't take long, though, for both of us to develop feelings, and we agreed that it was best that we went our separate ways.
What? No. You were just about to love up on each other.
We discontinued. No, they had to stop it. They had to stop it, go their separate ways. By the way, this comes from Must Hustle Left Whisker from the r/OK Storytime subreddit. However, February of 2023, he invited me out to lunch and confessed to me that it had been a mistake. And when he pictured his future, it had always involved me. By the end of the conversation, we both admitted to having strong feelings for each other and wanted to give dating a shot. So From that point on, things progressed fairly quickly as we already knew each other very deeply. Even when we were just friends, we often could read each other's minds. We soon began to talk plans of when we can get engaged / married / have kids in the coming years. These feelings were also communicated very early on to his parents. Remember that for later. Put an ICU in the chat if you see what's about to go down.
I don't want that to go down. I like this relationship. This is a good ship that I want to sail into the sunset.
Freaking
bad, Samuel.
No.
Also, before I get into what his family has said / done, I do want to preface something. When I tell you this man is the most loving, caring, and kind man I have ever met, I really, really mean it. I have been in abusive relationships in the past and had honestly just given up on dating. If I was not with him, I do not think I would be planning a future with another person. He has met all of my friends and family, and they have welcomed him with open arms. My friends adore how he treats me well, and he has truly been one of the best things that has ever happened to me. Any issues we had, we talked through calmly and together, and we worked past them. About 6 months into our relationship, I began to express more frequently that I wanted to meet his mom and dad. For context, they are still married, although it is very strange. All capitals.
Extremely unhappily married.
Ooh, baby. Strained like some wet noodles. And the beginning of our relationship, he had moved in with them less than 10 minutes down the road from my parents' house and about 15 minutes down the road from my own home.
Okay.
We stopped by his parents' home several times where I was asked to wait in the car. And once we had met them at a gas station late one night for important medical reasons. And again, I was asked to wait in the car.
Maybe he's like uncomfortable with what his parents think of OP or what they might say.
There's definitely something's
up.
Awry.
Something's amiss.
Mm-hmm. He always explained it as he needs our meeting to be under the right circumstances, quote unquote. Soon after that, I met his uncle and his uncle's family. It went so well, we made the 2.5-hour road trip drive to hang out with his uncle again once or twice in the following months. I remember my heart being so full seeing how kind and welcoming his uncle's family was. However, I still had not met his parents. He literally met the uncle
before the I don't understand. Man, they must be bad.
I think we're about to understand.
Okay, I understand it now.
How bad?
Unfortunately.
Okay, let's see.
When I finally met his mom, it was fine, but she did come across as a very my way or the highway and got upset with a waiter that was calling orders in the restaurant.
Excuse me, sir? Why are you calling orders and doing your job?
Can you please not do that?
Could you just use your telepathic skills to be able to silently communicate so you can enjoy my dinner in peace?
I'd rather have a robot serve me like they do in Japan, please.
As someone who grew up in a semi-cultish church, I was already too familiar with the holier-than-thou pastor's wife with a dash of Karen persona. If you know, you know. A few weeks later, I almost met his dad at a soccer game, but he left about 10 minutes, no speaking to me much. I saw his mom once or twice after that, and she didn't make much of an effort to speak to me or get to know me, and her behavior towards me in these small interactions became increasingly rude, such as walking away when I was in the middle of inviting her over for dinner.
This sounds like someone trying to spy an elusive duck or animal. It's like, yeah, I was trying to get close to it and then it ran away.
Yeah. Like every time she leads up to something, she's like, hey, so, I was wondering if you could come back to dinner. She's like, oh, no.
Oh, no, running away.
Oh.
Get.
My muffins. I must take them out of the oven. Mom, just
stay
chill.
in place and talk to me like a real human.
Just sit for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
As my boyfriend had just moved in and had already expressed to his dad he wanted to have his parents over so we could cook for them, at the time I thought she maybe just didn't hear me. Eventually, at his uncle's Christmas party, I began to really notice his mom doing passive-aggressive behaviors towards me and how intentional it seemed. For example, she would randomly begin talking in front of me about how terrible public schools are and how she would never let her kids be educated by inept public school teachers from the South. Both my boyfriend and his brother went to extremely expensive international private schools, kindergarten through 12th grade.
Oh my God.
That's enough to blow your hair back. You know, I mean, my God, just shock you with the cost of that.
I know. I am shocked.
My goodness. While knowing that not only am I a product of Southern public schools, but also, ladies and gentlemen, a Southern public school teacher myself.
That's a double dunk.
To rewind it back, Mom said, and I quote, that she would never let her kids be educated by inept public school teachers from the South, as if it's not already.
And also, and inept public school teachers from the South that are in this room and talking to me right now. I would never let my children do that.
That's enough to make me just like grab my hair and then just yank one fickled strand down in frustration. I mean, that is just beyond frustrating.
Beyond frustrating.
And hey, most of them can read, just some of them can't. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Riley is the perfect example.
I'm having a hard time, but I'm making it work.
These guys. Once again, a dyslexic reading podcast producer host
from the South.
Come on. She said other passive aggressive things like this throughout the night and would also ignore me or respond in only 1 or 2 words when I tried to speak to her. So when I told her about the poinsettia flower I bought for her, she visibly rolled her eyes and seemed annoyed. She also would turn her back to me or come stand in front of me with her back to me while I was in a group conversation.
I mean, now I understand why OP did not want to introduce his parents to her. Like, they suck. They suck terribly.
It's so aggravating. It makes you want to take both your hands, take 2 even thicker strands of your hair, and just freaking, twist it up and just yank it down.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Deal with this.
I can't even fathom.
Just listening to it makes me want to do that.
Oh my God. Well, I mentioned that night to my boyfriend when we were alone how uncomfortable her behavior had made me feel. He tried to explain a lot of it as just the business of the night and said that we would all be able to get to know each other a lot better in Boston. You see, we had planned for my birthday, which is on New Year's Eve, by the way. Wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That we would go visit his brother in Boston, and last minute found out that his parents had an extra room in the house that they had been loaned to by a friend. Wow. And that they were going on almost the exact same days as us. My boyfriend had asked if we could stay with them, and his father said yes. So stupidly, I gaslit myself that everything had simply been coincidence, and I was being too sensitive and was optimistic as I packed my suitcase. Once we landed in Boston, I came down with a cold, and my boyfriend with medical issues became very ill. I was terrified that he was going to end up in the emergency room. This is
serious stuff.
This is serious business. I was constantly running to the corner store to get medicine he asked for, and even walked 2 miles to get him Italian wedding soup from Whole Foods because I was trying to keep his sodium levels down. Hydration was a big concern to keep him out of the ER. Meanwhile, his mom went out of her way to not speak to me, make passive-aggressive comments to other people that seemed directed at me, be overly nice to everyone else, and would walk in front of me and put her back to me anytime we were standing in a group, especially on my birthday when we were all at an escape room arcade. Dude, the mom literally on her own birthday is like, no, we can't have her. Like, she's like, okay, guys, let's play in the escape room. And then the mom's like, yeah, let's plan that. And he's like, can I poke my head in here?
Please? Can we have a dialogue?
Not at all.
It's enough to just make you take your hand and I don't even know, just take your hair and just go crazy, right?
Go crazy.
Agreed.
I don't get it. If I spoke to her, she would walk away in the middle of me talking and wave me off like a shoe, like you're shooing a dog. Be gone. Get out of my face. When we returned home, I spoke to my boyfriend about her behavior, and he said he noticed it too and was not sure why she was acting that way. The only explanation he could come up with is that we were very different personality-wise. Let's take a quick little pause right here.
Okay, wait, why are we pausing?
I felt it important to stop right here because I think we need to talk about the boyfriend a little bit. I think that the boyfriend is enabling his mom and is absolutely afraid to confront her.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, he's not putting
Wet
down
toast.
boundaries. He's not putting down like I think like in a situation like this where you have a mom that's like overstepping every boundary, your girlfriend can't be the person that says, "Hey, stop," because she doesn't have that relationship.
He said that he was going to speak to her about treating me with respect. However, when he tried to have this conversation, she proceeded to talk poorly about me for 2+ hours. How can you say I hate this person 2 hours plus straight? How you only have so many hair follicles on your head? How do you know? I don't know how these things can happen, but I guess it does. And my boyfriend claims he just froze and he didn't know what to do. Ooh, ooh, ooh,
I'm mad and I don't know what to do.
Now he tried to defend me, but he admitted he disassociated for a lot of the conversation. She claimed I was controlling because I gave him NyQuil when he asked for it, and she doesn't like NyQuil. And that I spoke for him because I told her that I was worried about his fever and his cough. Then claimed that I had tried to physically block her access to him while he was sick. This just straight up never happened. So after him and I had a very serious discussion about setting boundaries with his mom, he tried to speak to her again. Right. After him and I having a very serious discussion about setting boundaries with his mom, he tried to speak to her again and explained that I was trying to be helpful and I have good intentions by literally getting him medicine when he's freaking dying. Well, the conversation went much the same as before. Nothing changed. She's still terrible.
I feel like she never. Yeah, she's shown time and time again that she will not change.
My boyfriend asked if she would be willing to sit down and speak with me, as it seemed there was a lot of miscommunications going on. She responded she felt it wasn't her place to have a talk with me. At first, I told my boyfriend no because I didn't like that, and she was going into it with the mindset that I needed to be put in my place. But my boyfriend insisted that was not the point of the convo. I could see how much it was hurting my boyfriend, and so reluctantly I agreed and reached out to her. So with my boyfriend's help, I drafted and eventually sent a text apologizing if any of my behavior had been hurtful, expressing my intention was to care for him in a time of need, and expressing that I wish he had given me a chance to explain these things at the time so we could clear up any misunderstandings. I
feel like that's taking the bigger person. Like,
that is
move.
Is a, you know, that's this big.
It's big.
You're
big.
being you're taking the high road.
The highest road possible.
Higher than your hair can even stand. That's how high of a road.
Yeah.
That OP is.
And that's I think where you want to be at, like, is in as many ways and as many times as possible.
It's where you want to be. It's where you want to be, right? I also said that although we do not have to be best friends, I hoped in the future we would both treat each other with respect because we both cared about my boyfriend. In all seriousness, very classy message, and OP didn't even have to do that, but I'll give it to OP for having the most kind approach humanly conceivable. She responded with a day and time she wanted to sit down and have a chat at Starbucks. The day arrives, and I walk into my boyfriend, who said he would meet me there from work, already inside and standing with his parents waiting on me. Immediately, I had a sinking feeling. As you can imagine, the 3-hour conversation went terrible.
Oh.
But some highlights of my favorite thing she said to me are, and I quote, number 1, unless she comes up to me and asks me to speak, she doesn't want to hear what I have to say. She would be allowed to do what she wants with her body when I asked if she could please stop walking in the middle of groups while I'm talking with others and putting her back to me so I'm excluded from the conversation. She'll do with her body what she
My body, my choice.
Yeah, apparently. And number 3, she had in fact been kind to me because she allowed me to hug her first when she entered her son's home. Context, I bought the home 100% independently before he and I ever started dating. But I guess since a man moved in, it's his now.
I'm just a silly little girl.
She also was kind to me because she prayed an asthma attack away. It was definitely not the person who lent me their rescue inhaler that saved the day that day. Number 5, don't look at him, look at me. We are having a conversation. Because I turned to my boyfriend hoping he would chime in, when I pointed out that neither he nor I remember anything remotely close to me physically blocking her from entering the door to our room when she wanted to ask him what his symptoms were and what he took, moments after asking me the exact same questions and then walking away before I could answer and barging into our room. I was behind her at this point, so I am not sure how she could have ever perceived I tried blocking her.
Look at this. Oh my goodness.
Number 6.
Oh man, we got numbers. We got numbers on the screen.
We are not done yet. I was controlling because I was self-conscious. Amazing that someone who has never asked a single question about me knows me so well. Also, because I gave my boyfriend
NyQuil.
when he asked for it, and she doesn't like NyQuil.
Dude, why are people hating on NyQuil? NyQuil's great.
She knows everything, and I mean
Everything.
about my boyfriend, and she has known him for longer than I have. Some would even say from birth. And therefore, there is nothing I can tell her about him that she doesn't already know, and therefore I should not speak about him to her or anyone else. Number 8, there is nothing I can give him that she can't give him.
That's so weird. I was making a joke before when she
Wow, I'm speechless. Too much time has passed since the trip, and I shouldn't be bringing this up now. Number 9, guys, we're not even done with this list. Number 9, repeatedly referring to me as my boyfriend's friend and a guest of the family. 9, icing on the cake, or 10, icing on the cake after berating me, gaslighting me, interrupting me, and belittling me for almost 3 hours, and me finally on the verge of tears. She jumps up, rushes into my personal space, and says, "See, this isn't about me. This is about something going on with you. You are hurting, and that's what I'm worried about." At that point, I walked out, drove home, sobbing to my best friend on the phone about what had just happened, locked myself in the bedroom, and cried myself to sleep. Needless to say, I was devastated because I was seriously doubting the relationship. Let's take a pause right here.
This relationship is effed.
Poll, break up or work on it? Because I ask...
Because they'd had a decent relationship before all of this, yeah. And he knows how bad it is. He was trying to keep it away from her.
They met the uncle's family multiple times before OP got to meet his parents, and this is the reason why he was trying to hold off as long as he possibly could.
We do have some votes coming in for breakup, but just before everyone swarms to the breakup.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I don't want to judge people on how terrible their parents are.
Yes.
Like
we
always.
don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. I do think it's a red flag that the boyfriend hasn't stood up as much as I feel like he should in this case.
At this point, I feel like is pivoting on the boyfriend and if he'll actually stand up and do any of the things we just talked about.
And if you really want to be with him and you don't want the mom around, you're going to have to watch a few episodes of Dexter to figure that one out.
It took me a while to gather my thoughts. But after a few tense days, I sat my boyfriend down and recounted to him every horrible thing that she said to me. I pressed him on why he didn't chime in when she lied about things that we both had previously agreed did not happen, and when she was being condescending towards me.
Ooh, he's probably max chubbing right now.
Dude.
He's like, "Oh, she's getting on to me. I can't do anything but just sit here and take it."
He admitted that he had felt he needed to be a neutral party in the conversation. This is not the time to be Switzerland, my brother in Christ.
Stick up for your girl, your goal.
You can't be Switzerland when your own mother is a nuclear bomb. You can't be that. Oh my God. I reminded him that I walked into this conversation in good faith that this was to clear up communications, and instead I felt like it was his family versus me having to defend my character while being interrupted, insulted, and gaslit.
Yeah, dude, I can't imagine if I was to have a girlfriend and be in a situation like this where like my family was going after this person and like everyone was going after them, I feel like the natural thing would be to like protect the person who is being persecuted, you know, that you supposedly love.
I point blank told him that I nearly broke up with him that night and every day since, but my friends have talked me off the ledge because they acknowledge that we have something very special. I also point blank told him, a lot of point blanks here, that I had 3 non-negotiable boundaries that I now needed to set in place for my mental health. Boundary number 1, he needed to go to therapy and his first appointment had to be in the next 3 weeks or I would end the relationship. We are there. This is a contract.
Also,
right
yeah, I love how concrete and time sensitive these asks are.
Indeed. Absolutely. Boundary number 2. He had 1 year to learn how to set boundaries with his family and stand up for me when I am there and when I am not, or I would end the relationship. And finally, boundary number 3, I would never speak to his mom again. Unless she apologized for the way she treated me, and even then I would not spend prolonged time with her or interact with her closely.
These are great boundaries. These are great boundaries.
We are laying it down explicitly and expeditiously.
Yeah.
Okay?
I love to see it.
He had since attended therapy regularly where his therapist has expressed his mom has an emotionally gross and too close, spicy sepia relationship towards him.
Yeah. Hey, you guys were all like,
Ew, Sam, I can't believe you said that.
well, guess who agrees with me? The freaking therapist. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not
it's
saying
certified.
I'm a therapist,
But I am.
but
I am.
I mean, proof is in the pudding.
Because from a young age, she began to place the emotional responsibilities of a partner on my boyfriend because his dad wasn't meeting them. In therapy, which I'm guessing means that he's so far agreed to the 3 boundaries, but in therapy he has begun to recall a lot about his childhood he repressed, like the fact that she would often vent to him and expose him to very adult topics from a young age. She also asked him to make adult decisions for her, like how he felt about her divorcing her husband, his dad, or
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, what do you think about this guy? You know, you think he's good? Think he's good for me? I know he's your dad, but like, yeah, come on.
You know, I feel like I should
Really?
leave him for a much better man.
Yeah, much younger man. Someone I have much more in common with.
Someone should say 50% of my DNA.
I hate this. I'm stopping it. I hate it. Can't even believe I contributed to that bit.
And I love them so much, I want it to be 51%.
God. Like how he felt about her divorcing her husband, his dad, or the financial burden of their very expensive schooling, asking him if he would be okay with being pulled out his senior year to be transferred to public school. Additionally, his parents made passive-aggressive comments about race, such as his mom stating her disgust for people of color being with white women. There it is! There it freaking is.
Oh, so
Racist!
on top of everything what we just had that was already gross, we're slapping on racism.
Racist.
This is a multi-layered dip, and I don't want any of it.
And his dad saying he's glad his son chose the quote-unquote right kind of white to date when he began dating one of his exes who was European.
Oh.
They are, wow. His parents were also very cold, distant, and uninviting to his friends and girlfriends.
Yeah, they want to keep that blood pure. A little bit too pure.
At this point,
God damn.
it's like, bro, not only do I need to cut off your parents, but
You need to cut out. This is yucky.
they are
yucky,
beyond
yucky.
repair. They also have talked a lot about the night my boyfriend let his mom berate me in Starbucks for 3 hours and how wildly inappropriate her behavior and him allowing it was.
Yeah, you know, you go to Starbucks for coffee, not to overhear tea, you know?
Dude, my God. Since then, he has apologized on many occasions, saying more than once it's one of the biggest regrets of his life and the biggest mistake he has ever made in our relationship. You can say that again. He has also tried repeatedly to set boundaries with his parents and talk to them about the inappropriate things they have said and continue to say. However, the conversations always fall apart, usually with them beginning to gaslight him, making excuses for their behavior, changing the topic, and pretending they don't understand the very simple things he is asking them
They
to
just
do.
keep breaking my walls.
Dude, Riley, you're about to go to the timeout corner, okay? Oh my God. Okay, we're just gonna pretend like Riley didn't just say that. So, for example, his mom tried to say I was trying to control her, then showed the text that he has helped me write, where I was saying I hope going forward we can be respectful towards each other as proof, and therefore I wasn't going to allow her to see her grandchildren. There is ne'er a mention of grandchildren in that whole text. Another time, when he tried to speak with her about how she had spoken to me, she claimed it was his fault. She treated me so poorly because she didn't know she needed to be nice to me because she thought I was just some chick he was hooking up with.
Some floozy.
Wait, yeah.
So any person your son's not hooking up with, you're automatic. Like any person your son is hooking up with, you're just gonna be mean to.
Out of jealousy.
She's like,
This man cannot have a wife or a girlfriend or partner.
I don't
Because
this whole dynamic is icky.
the mom is literally not going, like,
His mom is the only woman he'll ever need, though.
instead of bringing up how his dad had been horrible to her throughout their marriage, describing in detail his repeated infidelities, among other things. His father, at one point completely unprompted, asked my boyfriend to move in with him if he got selected to pastor a church with an attached home, random, and began talking about how much of a mistake it was for him to move in with his wife when he was my boyfriend's age. When my boyfriend confronted him about this, his dad saying my boyfriend was single and also would have offered his brother the same thing. His brother, who has been unemployed for almost a year and was financially stressed, don't recall being offered the same thing, oddly enough. My boyfriend then said that he didn't want to be referred to as single, to which his dad said he was
Biblically single.
That's kind of funny though. That's kind of funny.
And so he would do so regardless. So basically, shut the freak up, son, you freaking little idiot.
Freaking virgin.
He is visibly exasperated with the conversations, often dreading to have interactions with his parents, and has begun seeing them less and less. This is painful for me to see because I don't want him to not have a relationship with them, but also I know that I cannot have a relationship with them without something changing. And my bigger concern is that if we have children, they would see this behavior and think it is okay. That is a great point. The kids will pick up from old granny over here. It's one thing for them to traumatize me, but I have told my boyfriend I am not okay with traumatizing our children. I know all of this is making him feel torn, and often when we try to talk about it and how toxic some of their behavior is, he gets so wrapped up in trying to defend their character, I don't feel truly heard. My friends think he has worked really hard to grow these last 10 months, and he has already made some big changes and wants to continue to do better so that I feel safe around his family. However, my therapist has pointed out this might be a bigger issue further down the road and has asked me if he has changed enough for me to consider next steps with him. Originally, we planned on getting engaged next spring, but things have been in a holding pattern for obvious reasons. At first, I was feeling like he had because his uncle expressed wanting to sit down and have a conversation with us to help improve my relationship with his mom, and my boyfriend had called him and set boundaries. That strain had come from his mother's behavior, and I had already tried to mend that fence, but was treated poorly, and it would not happen again. However, I found out that this weekend, his uncle doesn't plan on his mom being there, and instead just wants to share information about his mom to help us understand.
Understand? What could you possibly want to understand about the mom?
Well, maybe there's some big thing we do not know right now. Maybe that even the boyfriend, her son, doesn't know, that will shed a light on what is possibly going on in her head.
No way any more information could turn me into a supporter of this mom.
Yeah. I feel like we're about to see a really dark family secret.
I don't know if I want to see that family secret.
What if there was a a brain changing leech that leeches onto your brain and it's like Ratatouille pulling the hair. You know, it's like poking the different nerve receptors and it's programming you to be a racist, insane maniac.
I mean, maybe if that's the case, but unless there's a little Ratatouille making her racist, I really don't think I'm gonna forgive her.
I straight up told my boyfriend that was triangulation and I wasn't sure I wanted to have that conversation anymore. He was devastated and said he felt like this was going to be his last hope, as he and his uncle had already acknowledged his mom's behavior will probably never change. I also found out that he talked to his dad again about his frustrations, yet still did not clearly set the boundary that he needed to be respectful towards our relationship and towards me. I got quiet at this point, and after a while, he admitted he knew he had dropped the ball. But honestly, at this point, it all felt like too much. I told him I don't feel like rehashing the same conversation because there really wasn't anything left for us to say for the millionth time. And I was tired. And if you're tired, you can tap our profile and join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST, like we are right now. I think Opie said it perfectly when she said the line, why would we talk through this when it would just be like rehashing it for the millionth time and we know nothing's going to change? It is just a lost cause.
There's no information that we could get that would make this right. There's no information we could get that, again, unless it's the racist Ratatouille controlling this mother. Like, I don't think there's anything that we could get that would make me want to have a relationship with this person.
She has RRD, racist ratatouille disease. It's a tough.
More and more people are affected every day.
Dude, there's some freaking people freaking affected with it.
Oh, yeah.
Since then, things have been really tense between us. I know I said I would give him a year, and maybe I am not being fair, getting upset when it hasn't been the full year. And he, in fact, has gone to therapy and has set boundaries with some of his family, the ones who care to listen at least. It is so much more for someone to process and overcome in a year. He is just seeing for the first time how toxic many of his family's patterns are and is still navigating on how to put a stop to it. He hasn't technically met my ultimatums, so I should be grateful for the progress I do see. Are my expectations too high? Am I unreasonable for being the a-hole? That's it of the story. We do not get a confirmation of if she actually left the relationship or not. But you know what?
I hope she,
we can only pray. We can only pray. We can only freaking... Can I ask you, Sam, is this the worst mother-in-law in OK Storytime history? I think we might have finally met our match here.
I feel like most mother-in-laws are effing their sons over, but this one's taken that a little bit further.
To a whole new level. A whole new meaning. What an episode this has been, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speechless.
I really don't like it.
I really
don't like it. Kimberly Fine says, people like this suck across the board outside of their positional authority. All it takes is a little time to come around. With parents, you have to unlearn the only thing you've known since birth. True.
Yeah, these parents, I'm sorry, there's just no hope in them changing.
Sassy says, can we have a wholesome story now?
No.
Yeah, this was we have been doing more wholesome stories. This one was not that. Don't worry. Well, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
We have a little quickie to close this out. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's
says wholesome break, please.
Please.
Any good news, fellas?
Wait. Do we have an update on this?
No.
Oh, okay.
They had a lot of comments. They were just ranting about stuff.
But let's get into this next story. So
I told my mom to get an $8 subscription. Then she said, pay me $26,000 from your college inheritance.
What? That doesn't seem like a fair trade.
My mother had bought an Android TV box that can stream any new show or movie for free.
That can scream.
Now, I told her this was technically illegal, but her response was, streaming isn't illegal because we aren't even downloading the content. So I said, all right, and I left. Turns out our internet service provider is not too keen on this though, and it throttles our entire network to unbearable speeds anytime the Android TV box is in use. The box will hog all of the throttled bandwidth so the movie will stream, but every other device will be kicked off of the network. So it prioritizes the illegal streaming and kicks off everything else.
Sounds like Spectrum wants you to be illegal.
When I told my mother about this or asked her to pause for just a bit so I'm able to get my work done, her response is always,
I pay for the internet and it seems to be working. So you can deal with not having internet while I'm watching TV.
Dude, OP's trying to do some work.
I've been dealing with this for 2 weeks now. Get this. I was disqualified from 2 job interview technical tests. I had to plead to retake a midterm with my professor, and I often get booted when I'm on the phone with my girlfriend, who I'm in a long distance relationship with. When my mom left for a bit that day, I started doing some troubleshooting and found that a VPN fixes the problem. So when my mom came back, I told her that the VPN fixes the problem and that she should use one anyways, since her activities are illicit.
If you're going to do danger stuff, make sure to have danger protection.
Danger's my middle name.
Her response, unsurprisingly, was,
I bought the box to stop paying for subscriptions. I'm not gonna pay for something when the TV works just fine. You can live without the internet.
How can anyone live without the internet?
You're watching TV? I'm applying to jobs. OP is in a big pickle, a dill pickle. I thought she'd at least be reasonable, and I was gonna offer to pay for half of the yearly subscription. But instead, I was just shocked. Shortly after, she came in and told me that I should have paid for the VPN because I'm the one who would be using it anyways. I told her that's not how it works. I wouldn't be using it, but I'd be willing to split the cost with her. She didn't like that answer, and then she started going off by saying,
you're 22 and you don't pay for anything. You should at least be paying for rent and to use our internet.
My parents told me that I could live rent-free until I graduate college, which led me to go to my local university to save money and not have to pay for room and board. My tuition, on the other hand, is just barely covered by the small amounts that my grandfather left me when he passed away. But the account holder's name is my mother's. If that doesn't cover my tuition, I'd have to pay everything out of pocket. My brother, on the other hand, moved out to go to college, and his finances are a different story. My mom pays completely for his tuition, room, board, and groceries.
How's that fair?
So he doesn't have to work while he goes to school. The tuition, room, and board for him are almost 3 times my annual tuition alone. Yet she still pays for that without batting an eye. My mother continued going off, telling me that starting now, I'll have to pay rent and it'll be $1,200 a month. She also said I'd have to pay for the VPN so I can use the internet, and I'll pay for the internet since
you're the one who always uses it anyways.
And she finished off her list of demands by stating,
also, the trust won't be covering your tuition anymore, and you need to pay me back the $26,000. It's paid out already.
But that was left from the grandpa.
I was just silent and left. I broke down into tears when I got out to my car and I just started driving. I haven't talked to her since, and I'm just fuming that she would hold my inheritance ransom. I was just planning to yeet out of there the day I graduate. But every month is something else that's my fault and I have to pay for. Started off with groceries, and I now never buy groceries or make dinner for my parents. Then when I got my tax refund, my mom said that she should get half of it because
I did your taxes, so I deserve half.
And I didn't even ask her to do my taxes. I just came home one day and she had finished them. Same thing with my stimulus checks during COVID. My father and I were going to see a show tonight. He sees the stark contrast in the way that she treats me versus my brother, and has even told me before, I know she treats you differently than everyone else, and you just need to not cause a ruckus or stir anything up with her and just leave as soon as you graduate. But he won't actually stand up for me or oppose her on anything. Whatever she says goes. There's an update. Also, in response to checking my social security number and financials, I know that they aren't draining my accounts for one reason or the next. She wasn't in debt or anything. Her and my father were married, and they've amassed a small fortune where money isn't really an issue for either of them for the rest of their lives.
Why are they treating him like this then?
She's just being evil. There's no other reason. Also, as for the trust, I am not allowed to touch it except for paying my tuition and tuition only until I'm 25. So I can't drain it and run it out. Also, I just silently paid for the VPN and put it on the box last night. I haven't talked to or seen my mother since last night. I'm going to just keep my head down and try to survive another 2 months. I'm hoping that nothing will come of it after graduation, in which I will be long gone. I'm deep into my senior final project in college and can't just uproot and leave because I won't have anywhere to set up my desktop to finish. I could if school wasn't in person this semester. I was planning to move out of state and live with my girlfriend this year, but the college pushed to be in person way earlier than anyone expected.
I faked what hospital the baby was being born at, so my entitled mother would show up at the wrong one. She freaked out and was detained by security. Okay.
OP.
This is OKOP. I'm Samuel Donner.
And I'm John Fry.
And we tell the funniest stories on the internet. And John, have you ever done like Ancestry.com or 23andMe or anything like that?
I really wish I did because, as we both well know, white people are mutts and I have no real idea what I am.
I recently found out what I was. My mom did 23andMe.
Oh, that's right. Because it'll work if anyone in your close family does it. Basically. Yeah. Right.
My mom looked it up, and the only thing that I really remember is I am a little bit Irish, a little bit German, and I am 1% Nigerian.
Rocking it. No hate or shame on you, but that is the first thing that you see on like Twitter is white people being like, "Yo, I'm 1% this African guy. Let's go."
Yes, I definitely fall into that category. But I appreciate my mom for, telling me a little bit about my history.
It's interesting to know.
But I have a story about moms that are not good.
Ooh.
And are way more entitled and don't care about any kind of ancestry.
Oh, goodness.
I faked what hospital the baby was being born at, so my entitled mother would show up at the wrong one. She freaked out and was detained by security.
I don't have a child, but I typically imagine that's not how childbirth goes, you know?
It's not how it should go, John. It's not how it should go. So my sister went into the hospital to be induced and had her baby. So I'm officially an uncle now.
Congrats, OP.
Hey, yo, let's go, OP. To a wonderful little baby boy. But here's how things went down.
Uh-oh.
My sister went in on Saturday to be induced. And like so many of you guessed, entitled mother went rushing to the hospital the moment she found out. I first got word from the neighbor who lives across the street from entitled mother that she came rushing out and got in her car to drive off like a madwoman. Guess she's not afraid enough of our restraining orders against her. Restraining orders.
When do you have a restraining order against your mom?
That's when you really know you have a helicopter parent. But it didn't matter. The hospital she went running to wasn't the one we were at. Instead, we went to one 50 miles away and said online that the birth was going to be at a local hospital. On the chance that entitled mother was still ghosting her social medias, we stated the wrong hospital on purpose to throw her off the scent. From what I found out, she went to the maternity ward of our local hospital and made a huge scene of telling them to let her in until they convinced her we weren't there. And then she was promptly escorted out by security.
Can you imagine a woman just yelling, where's my daughter? And they're just like, baby, ma'am, this person isn't here. I don't know what to tell you.
My sister was in labor for 27 hours. Yo. Ouch. I got no sleep that night. I, with the help of my girlfriend, coordinated almost everything, right down to the hotel we stayed at for a couple of days. And we only just got home this morning. During the birth, I waited around the hospital like a guard dog in case entitled mother somehow figured out where we were. I packed a taser. Man's about to tase his mom.
Tase your own mother?
I packed a taser while patrolling the parking lot, but I wasn't allowed to carry it inside. Thankfully, we had guards on high alert in advance after explaining the situation to hospital staff. I brought my old Game Boy Advance and its charge cord with me to play Metroid Fusion and Mario Kart while sitting around in the waiting room.
Very nice.
Still love playing on that old Game Boy, which OP, do whatever you have to do to get through this entitled mother ruining your life.
Do what you got to do, hopefully without tasing anybody.
As soon as we were home this morning, we told the whole story to family on social media, putting mom on blast. There's no way entitled mother wasn't watching, so she likely knows the gender of the baby by now. Since she would have willingly violated the restraining orders both my sister and I have against her by going to the hospital she thought we were at, my lawyer has already sent her a cease and desist letter for it. So she'll know that we know what she tried to do. We're all of the belief that entitled mother was holding out hope that my sister would have a baby girl, but my sister and future brother-in-law held off telling any of us the gender of the baby before it was born. I don't really blame them for not saying, not with entitled mother watching. If they said it was a boy sooner, entitled mother probably wouldn't have believed it. But now with the baby photos up for all the family to see, there's no way entitled mother will deny it now. Regardless, I'm going to keep my taser close.
Stop. That's not the ending note of the story. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what your mother did to you, but do you really have to taser?
Got a taser. She's getting too close. Restraining order. 50 feet away, 100 feet, 200 feet.
Yeah, we need to comb through Craggle Tom's discography on
dude,
Reddit.
Craggle Tom, OP, which is his name is Craggle Tom. He has got some stories.
He's got some stories on there.
War stories for sure.
Need to know why he has a restraining order and a taser for his mother.
Please release your memoir right now. But you know what you should always release into the world?
Ooh, your love for OKOP by subscribing.
Yeah, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify and TikTok, and if you want to be a real one, support us on Patreon.
Oh, yeah. Follow the ranks of Muhammad, Amanda, Will Combs, Connor Van Buren, Desiree Canterbury, Keegan Simmons, and Kathy Coegley.
Oh, yeah. This is OKOP. I'm Samuel Donner.
And I'm John Fry.
And we tell the funniest stories on the internet. And John, boy, do I have another cancerous one for you.
I'm ready.
It's about cancer. It's about to blow your mind.
Let's do it.
Mom felt entitled to my wish after I was diagnosed and survived cancer.
Bro, where do they make these moms?
So
where?
Dude, they make them in hell. Cancel. They're a bunch of Karen moms.
There are a bunch of Karen moms. We need
all
to cancel
the Karens. Buy our merch. So today, I, 29 female, am 13 years in remission from cancer. I had a very aggressive type with less than a 20% chance of survival for the first 5 years. But that's not the story I'm here to share. It's just relevant information. As I was 16, I qualified for Make-A-Wish. I'd played around with a bunch of potential ideas, destination vacations, meeting my favorite band, getting electronics, all that. Once the idea of traveling somewhere warm came up, my mom, entitled parent, was convinced that that was what was happening with my wish.
Oh, dear.
The discussion of Barbados came up. So that's what she set her mind to. However, I was still on the fence. And after discussing it with my correspondent at Make-A-Wish, I wanted to meet my favorite band. We would not have been able to go to the Caribbean for the trip simply because of costs, but we could still go somewhere warm and out of the country. We live in northern Canada with -40 Celsius winters.
Oh, no, thank you.
That is gold.
No, thank you.
There was talks of Florida, California, or even Hawaii as destinations to meet them at. I wrote a letter directed to said band explaining how listening to them helped me through treatment, and that actually one song in particular that the youngest wrote really helped me. And my correspondent had mailed it out to the managers, and they were going to begin preparations for the band to get time scheduled for the Wish, which all
awesome.
Sounds great, right? They're going to fly out to somewhere warm and they're going to meet the band.
Oh, it's like a double whammy wish.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They maybe not Barbados because that would be too expensive, but they would be able to go to like Florida, Hawaii.
Awesome. I love it. I love it already. I can tell it's not going to end well.
Nope. When I told my mom what I wanted and the plan to meet the band, she went nuts. She went off about how she deserved this trip as much as I do because she was there for me the entire time. And that if I wanted to do anything besides going to Barbados, I could find another adult to supervise the trip because neither her or my stepdad would be joining me.
What? Oh my God.
It wasn't what she wanted.
Oh my God.
She then told me to pack my bags and I'd be staying at my dad's place till I came to my senses.
Stop.
And then told Make-A-Wish that we were going to Barbados.
You're kicking out your own daughter with cancer.
Own daughter with cancer over a freaking Make-A-Wish that's not even yours. I spent over a month at my dad's. And during this time, the correspondent was trying to convince me to go through with what I really wanted, but I eventually caved and let my mom have what she wanted.
Oh man.
Now, my parents did make a compromise with me at the time and told me they'd drive me to their concert in Toronto if I had paid for the entire trip.
Bro, she's a teenager with cancer.
Foolish 17-year-old me thought that was a great idea. I get to see the band in concert and make my parents happy in the end. It cost a lot. My parents complained the whole time, but at least I'd see them in concert.
Oh, wow.
On the occasional time where the conversation of the trip to Barbados has come up, my mom likes to paint herself as a victim after all these years. Could you imagine if you'd gone through with it and we'd missed out on Barbados? You would have gone with the person's mom instead and left us, her and her stepdad behind. I would have never forgiven you if you'd done that.
Oh my God. Your child with cancer.
I know. To this day, I'm still a huge fan of that band. They were on hiatus for a while, but came back, and this whole situation really sticks in my mind, especially when I see them performing on shows and on their 2 tours they've done post-hiatus. Yes, I saw them in a concert, and it was a great time, but I could have physically met them and gone to a concert through Make-A-Wish while traveling to another country without having to pay out of pocket for the experience.
Amazing.
And I couldn't do any of this, all because my mom felt entitled to making my wish about her rather than the actual recipient of it. I understand that she didn't care to meet the band herself, but there could have been many opportunities available aside from just doing that. I nearly died. It shouldn't have even been a question that it was my wish and I should do what I want for my wish, especially with the extremely high chance of the cancer coming back. So, what do you guys think? Do you think OP is in the wrong here, or do you think the parents are in the wrong here?
You know who's never in the right?
Adam Levine.
Adam Levine. His existence is an insult to humanity.
Yeah, and if you want to show him who's boss on TikTok, let's surpass him in followers. Follow us. Screw Adam Levine. But John, what do you think of the, like, who's actually wrong here?
Gee.
It's pretty obvious,
Obviously
y'all.
the mom.
Good. Tell us in the comments.
Dude. Let us know, guys. This one was a doozy. You delivered, Sam. This one was a doozy. My mom told me my dad disowned me, but he's just bisexual. There's not many words to say for this one. I mean,
I don't even know how to respond.
All right, let's get to the bottom of this one. For most of my life, I was raised by just my mother, since my father left us when I was 3, and my mom and I are very close. But my mom has always been vague about the details of the divorce, just that it was very painful and sudden, and that he never had any interest of getting custody of me. That's sad.
Damn.
A couple months ago, I was going through documents looking for my birth certificate, and I came across the divorce papers.
Oh, crap.
She found out what was going on. Surprisingly, my mom was listed as the one who filed for divorce, completely contradicting her story that he left us.
Huh.
Yeah, so she's starting to see the cracks.
The holes are being poked in the story.
I figured there must have been a reason for this, like him being abusive or something, but I know that my mom is sensitive about the topic, so I didn't want to bring it up. I asked my aunt who is her sister, but I was told to just drop it. It's been bugging me, so I decided to look for him, and I found him on Facebook.
She found her dad.
She found her dad.
Facebook, just bringing families together.
For real.
Thanks, Mark.
His profile was completely private, but his profile picture showed him with a little boy who must be my brother.
What?
So she has a brother now that she didn't know about.
Wait, so from the same marriage?
We're about to find out, I guess. I found his business email online, and against my better judgment, I decided I was going to email him asking if he wanted to meet for coffee, and he agreed. Last week, we met, and he was completely not what I was expecting at all. He was thrilled to see me and even almost cried and wanted to hear everything I'd been up to for the past 15 years. I asked why he left, and that's when I started getting his side of the story. Towards the end of their marriage, my father confessed to my mom that he is bisexual and that during high school and college, he had a serious boyfriend. He was ashamed of his sexuality, which was why he hid it from my more traditional mom. My mom was angry, but didn't divorce him because of it. After the divorce, he began dating his boyfriend again, and my mom freaked out over me being, quote unquote, exposed to this.
Exposed to a healthy, happy relationship?
A healthy, happy relationship. Oh my God.
Oh, geez.
How dare you? My mom petitioned for full custody and was granted it by the court. Over the years, my father has attempted to reach out to my mom about me, but she has never budged and never let him see me. I asked my mom about what really happened. No BS, no holding back. That's when I told her Dad's side of the story.
Oh, the truth. The truth comes out.
Finally comes out.
I want to hear that truth. I can handle it, John. Tell me the truth.
Sam can handle the truth. Let's get to it. She started choking up and tearfully admitted that everything was true. She insists that it wasn't out of anger or bigotry, but because she genuinely believed that it was best for me to stay with her. I don't know if I'm following your timeline, Mama. There's no other evidence of anything else that has been presented. If that's the case, give me one other reason.
How is it best for your child
to grow up without their father?
Yeah.
What?
Like if you have that option, like, I mean, I feel like you should take it, especially if the father it seems like the father's like a good guy.
It seems he wants to be involved. Yeah. He's been asking over the past 15 years. It doesn't really make sense. I am just so shocked. Still, she lied to me for years, making me think my own father didn't want me. I mean, that's honestly the craziest part, is that she told her like the father abandoned them.
Yeah, and never wanted custody.
Dude.
Like, it's like, hey, not only did your father leave, but he didn't even try to see you.
That's unacceptable. Oh. My dad and I are reconnecting now, but I've just missed so much of my life with him. Next week, I'm going to meet his husband and my 7-year-old half-brother. I live with my mom, but I cannot speak to her right now.
Yeah, dude, she lied about such an important part of your life for so long.
Terrible. She is begging me to forgive her, but I'm so angry and I don't know how I'll ever not be angry with her.
Dude, that's tough.
You know, you had this great relationship prior, like, you know, you thought, oh, it's just the two of us. And then it's like, wow, she's been hiding
so much.
This, you know,
it's like, how can you trust anything she says?
How can you truly?
I don't know.
Insane.
Be our photographer for free. Our family deserves it.
Why won't you just give it to me?
You'll get so much exposure if you take my pictures.
Yeah.
I have a situation on a guided tour to Japan where a specific family saw my A7 III camera with a seemingly professional lens and wanted me to tag along with them for all photography needs. Basically photographing them, their pampered kids, etc., etc. At first, it's like, sure, my pleasure. But that goes out of hand pretty quickly. Midway through the trip, I got increasingly commanded or ordered to go to a specific spot to photograph their precious kids, and my photos getting intensely critiqued. You should do this and that, enhance color, do post-processing. Like
the color balance is off.
Yes, come on. What's with this exposure? What's with this contrast?
Give me a sepia tone, I demand you.
I detected the situation. And tried to escape on the next drop-off where I go on a different path, but I got quickly stopped saying I should follow them to photograph their kids.
Of course.
You know what? Fark this. I paid for the trip to enjoy it, and I'm not going to be paid to be a photographer for the tour. The thing is, they only had a phone, and I guess that's the problem. Can you not take good photos on your phone? Plan your trip properly next time and stop bothering a fellow tourist. I eventually got the death stare from them and constant harassment. They purposely put their hands in front of my camera when I was taking shots of the landscape.
Stop it.
Saying it's nothing wrong. It's a public place. They can do whatever they want.
Oh my God.
I never released any of my photos of their kids to them, much to their violent tantrum and dismay.
That's actually perfect. You like withhold the thing they want.
Yeah. Withhold it. Revenge.
My transphobic mom is baiting me from driving just because my friend is trans. I won't stand for it. Am I the a-hole?
No, I mean, based on what I've heard so far, no.
0% the a-hole. Let me provide some context. I, 19 female, have been talking about moving in with two of my friends from the last job I worked at for quite a long time. At the time we made these plans, we were all working at the same place and it was going great. Up until I got let go for my many times of being away from my station too long, aka taking bathroom breaks because they won't let us sit down and my back was killing me and I couldn't take a breather within the sight of the managers because I'd get yelled at. Oh, sounds like retail.
I'd like to speak to the manager.
Yeah, that's tough. I never had an issue with that until they started firing people and many quit because of the work conditions. And so to make up for the sparse staffing, they would give me double shifts, causing me to get burnt out very quickly.
So to fill the gap, I've been doing DoorDash just so I'm at least not a complete loser. Anyway, on to the meat and potatoes of the story. Sometime after telling my mom, 55 female, what the possible plans were for the move-in, I went and asked my friends if they were all right with me telling my mom the whole scoop because they'd eventually meet face-to-face anyways if we'd be helping each other move, get our stuff in, all of that jazz. I would never tell another person who's never met my friends that they're trans unless they were okay with me doing so. So basically, it seems like she's asking permission to be like, hey, can I tell my mom about you guys?
Is that relevant information?
I think it's more important, like, do they have a job? They gave me permission. And so I broke the news to my mom. Now, mind you, my mother is very much Christian and conservative. I, however, am Christian but not conservative. At first, she seemed kind of indifferent about it, so I figured, okay, this might not be that tough of a situation. Since then, our relationship has become extremely rocky and we've both been getting into arguments off and on for a couple of months now. The hostility and bigotry have all been thinly veiled under the guise of protecting me and caring about mine and my friend's salvation. Now, as much as it makes me sad to know that their view of God is based off of the impressions they've gotten from their own Christian upbringings, because I wish I could help them see what God really is about, I'm very much against pushing my beliefs on those who don't express interest in sharing them. I wholeheartedly understand and sympathize with those who have experienced religious trauma growing up, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone or want to make anyone relive it for that matter. However, this willingness to love everyone no matter what walk of life they come from is seen as blatant enabling to my mom. No matter how many times that I tried to explain to her that LGBTQ plus people aren't evil and they just want to live without being in constant fear, I'm asexual myself, and she even has an issue with that, none of it gets through. I've tried the put yourself in their shoes approach. I've tried explaining that Jesus literally ate dinner in the presence of way worse people. I quoted, "He who is without sin cast the first stone." Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So now, because I'm still choosing to go forward with my move and do everything I can to get back on my feet, I'm being threatened with having my car taken away from me, which of course would prevent me from doing my DoorDash and making money while I try to land a more solid job. Totally forgot about that.
Oh shit. So that's like OP's main income.
Here's the thing. I pay for my car every single month and on time.
Wait, so how could they take it away?
Your mom can do nothing.
Unless it's under their name.
Not once have I asked my parents to help me with the car payments. I'm doing my part to be responsible, pay my bills, get more money rolling in, yada, yada, yada. And if you missed it, I'm legally an adult. I'm not an underage girl who's in way too quick of a hurry to grow up. I'm not being spontaneous. I quite literally planned this months in advance. And on top of that, I've been talking about moving out in general since I was 16. It sounds like OP bought it. They didn't say that outright, but
a lot of first cars are bought by parents.
100%. Interesting. But I knew I didn't have anything close to the required means at the time. My plan wasn't even to specifically pick people who are part of the LGBTQ plus community to move in with. I don't think you should be like, I need a gay roommate.
Yeah, it feels like a weird filter, but maybe it's like you feel more comfortable.
And I guess OP's saying that they're not doing that. So
yeah, interesting phrasing.
That's just who my friends happen to be, and I honestly don't care. It neither breaks my leg nor picks my pockets. I have exactly zero qualms. Now I'm caught in the crossroads between feeling like a complete screw-up / problem child and trying to push forward because I know I deserve for good things to happen to me. My mom keeps reeling me in and making me feel ridiculous, telling me that I'm acting out of desperation and jumping at the closest opportunity I see just because I didn't have many friends growing up. So much screaming, crying, and claims of betrayal while I'm staying mostly stoic the whole time. Deep down inside, it hurts. It hurts to know that I could be hurting my own mother. I'm having a fight with myself and my mother at the same time, and I honestly do not know how much more I can take. Please, someone tell me I'm not crazy. Anyone.
Wow. I mean, you're not crazy for living with this person.
Absolutely not. It sounds like your intention is to be supportive of them.
Yeah. Like, I think OP's intention is all there, but the way OP went about it, like, was just not setting them up for success.
Again, like, why share it?
Why share it
in the first place?
Also, if you know your mom is going to be conservative and, you know, super religious, like, you don't need to share every bit of information with your parents.
Yeah, 100%.
You don't. I mean, you don't, like, you can, and like in some cases that's good, but in this case, it doesn't feel like it's necessary or helpful, and it's only made your life a little bit harder. And obviously, the mom's an a-hole.
1,000,000,000%. What should OP do here?
See if you can get the car under your name. I think just move in. Who cares?
Yeah, move in. I wonder how the trans friend is doing in all this. If the mom has hopefully not done anything to them.
I would be curious for everyone down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on the situation, what you would do. If you've had any experiences with your parents, close family, friends, whatever, that didn't agree with your viewpoint and you had to like, you know, stand up for your friends or something like that. Like, how did you handle that?
Yeah, it's a tricky situation.
It's a very tricky situation.
Let us know, and we'll talk to you soon. And let's get into this next story.
Boom.
My mother demands I give her money from my book release, but I refuse. Am I the asshole?
What's up with all these mamas and daddies trying to get in their children's pockets?
So my parents have demanded money from any income I've had most of my life. When I was 12, I had a paper route that I never saw a dollar from. And when I was older, I constantly had to give/loan money to them and even used an entire paycheck to help cover rent more than once.
Oh my God.
I always assumed it was both. But after my parents split up, my dad stopped asking for money and my mom didn't. So it was obvious that she was the one always pushing for it. That's so lame. Like you should teach your kid to make money and like invest it in stuff. Like if you take it away, then they never learn the value of money.
I hate when parents do this. I hate it.
It's so lame. I love my mom, don't get me wrong. She did a lot for us, right, with raising me and siblings. As much as it sucked to keep giving my own money, I felt that I had to pay her back for everything she did. Misguided, I know. It's like you don't know the reality distortion field of your upbringing until you're out of it.
Yeah,
He probably thinks it's just normal. Like, oh yeah, my parents asking for all of my money, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's not normal. But after my parents split up, she completely went off the deep end. She started doing heavy drugs and constantly going out to see men.
Oh.
Dang, where's that pocket money going? Hopefully to some birth control. You don't want a little brother. Or maybe you do.
Not like this.
I try not to judge her, but it all came to a head when I brought my sons over for a family Thanksgiving years ago, and she literally spent the entire day in her room with two guys getting a tattoo. Is that what they're calling it these days? Now she has no stable income or home and claims to be going to rehab every few months and has a new boyfriend every time I hear an update from her. She never makes an effort or time to see me or my family, including my 7-year-old son that she has never met.
Oh.
So I'm almost done writing a book. It's nothing spectacular, but I'm proud of it, and some people might even like it. I've been posting it on Facebook to my friends and family for people to help me review it and give their thoughts. A process that has taken a couple of years, and to no one's surprise, she has done nothing to help with. I plan to publish soon, and so I get a message from her out of the blue saying, with the money you get from your book, you can help me make sure I have a great Christmas with me and boyfriend's name's kids. I've shrugged off similar messages from her in the past, but this one really set me off. All I said was, no, any money I make goes to my family. Damn.
Oh.
But I wanted to say so much more. She's still in contact with my siblings, so I don't want to upset her and cause more drama. What I wanted to say was, I'm an amateur author doing their first book. This won't make much, if anything at all. And on the off chance I hit the proverbial lottery and people like it more than I'm expecting, I still won't give you a cent. My wife deserves help bringing in money for her family. My kids deserve a good education. And I have friends that say sup every couple of weeks and ask about my children more than you do. So I would give them money before you. So F you, F your boyfriend, F his kids that you care about more than your own grandparents. I just wanted to get this off my chest, and thank you.
OP coming in hot.
OP is a wordsmith. What can I say?
That is true.
You know, write this book.
Yeah.
Publish it right now. We'll read it, and you'll probably get more hits on this than your book.
There we go. I do have to say, if the mom is optimizing to grift and just siphon as much money off of OP as possible, a first-time self-published book release is maybe not the most effective route.
Low-key, like OP probably got a ton of traction on this Reddit post.
What if?
It's a marketing strategy.
I was thinking the exact same thing. That's kind of genius.
Riley, pull up the link. What if someone asks, hey, what's the book? And he links it in the comments. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
If I had a self-published book, I would write a ton of crazy Reddit stories and then just mention a book, but not say anything about it.
Wow.
And then I would respond saying, what's the book?
That is genius. Wow, we're cooking.
Yo, when did it come out? Let's give OP a shout out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Archblade, the legend of the Defiler.
Defiling what?
I think we've been hoodwinked.
Hey, you know what? Game recognized game.
Game recognized game.
You got us.
You got us. Fucking all right. We're plugging Archblade the Defiler. Fuck you. Fuck you. He fucking got us.
Game recognized game.
All right, but let's get into the game of this next story.
Let's do it.
Am I the a-hole for not letting my son go to his bio dad's 1-year sober ceremony just so he can show off what a great dad he is?
What, does he deserve some kind of medal for sobriety?
I, 23 female, have a son 3 with a man, 23 male. Just recently, his bio dad asked for him to be at his 1-year certificate ceremony. I expressed how uncomfortable I was going with him, and I've asked multiple family members on their thoughts, and they said that I'm being selfish for not allowing my son to go.
So the bio dad is the 23-year-old. She just has a kid with him, but is not with him right now.
So a little backstory. I got pregnant with my son in 2019 when I was 19 years old. His bio father was a closeted alcoholic and hid it from me until the time my son was born. And in 2020, I eventually left him before my son was born and I moved in with my parents. Everything went downhill from there since the start of COVID. My parents were really strict with COVID rules regarding holding my son. My son's bio dad did not like those rules, and that's when the yelling and screaming at me would begin. In 2021, I met someone else and moved out of my parents' house. The original bio dad and I have ended things a while ago, and my current partner still helps me raise my son. He does everything a dad is supposed to do, but my son's bio dad legally abandoned my son after starting to drink, and he started using substances.
Legally abandoned. I like that.
Yeah, I guess
Like, do they sign the paperwork? Just like, hey, this is not my kid anymore?
I'm guessing legally abandoning is basically completely waiving your rights to the child. He, as of last year, went to a program to help him get his life together. But anytime I have a conversation with him, he's only wanting to talk about how much he misses being with me and how much he regrets taking my love and kindness for granted. I've tried to make ways for him to build a relationship with my son without my son getting confused, as my son does not understand that his bio dad is his dad, but he calls someone else dad. I'm guessing her current partner.
That's confusing for the kid.
He asked me to let my son go to his ceremony to show off how great of a dad he is when he knows nothing about my son.
So basically, the bio dad is like, hey, I'm a year sober. Let my son come so I can have a relationship with him. But he waived his rights as a parent.
He keeps telling me how great of a dad he'll be and that he's worthy to be in my son's life as a dad. His actions don't align with his words, and when I ask him how he's going to back his words up to match his actions, he just says the same thing of how he'll be a great dad. I've recently told him that he can't just say he'll be a great dad. He needs to show me and not tell me. And when he doesn't get his way, he stops contact for months at a time. Yeah,
okay, bro. You're not ready.
So am I the a-hole for not letting my son go to his bio dad's 1-year certificate? Update, I realized that I need to add some context here. My son's bio dad will only contact me when he wants to be praised for being a dad. Yes, he got sober, but he chooses not to be a part of my son's life. He only wants to see him when he knows he gets praise out of it. I've been raising my son without my son's bio dad since the day that my son was born. When he doesn't get his way, he stops responding, he stops communicating. The last time I had contacted him in regards to the ceremony, he had wanted his mom to take my son, and I was not comfortable with that. My son does not know his grandma very well, and we do try to get him to know her. Just our schedules don't always line up as I work and I go to school. And she runs her own business. And number 2, he'll be around a lot of people he doesn't know and would get overwhelmed. And when I expressed how uncomfortable I was with that, he stopped communicating. Only message I got from him was, have a blessed day. Previously, he hadn't texted me after my son's 3rd birthday, which was in April. And then he didn't text me until before Father's Day with a message saying how, since it's Father's Day, how is my kid doing? He's never asked what my son is into, what his likes are, his dislikes, how school is going for him. My son is super smart and I love being able to brag about that. He never takes any interest unless it's going to allow him to get praise for not doing anything, just simply claiming that he's a dad. And that's not what being a dad should be. He hasn't changed just because he got sober. He's the same inconsistent person that he was before he got sober. So am I the a-hole?
So basically the question is she the a-hole for not allowing this biological dad who legally gave up rights to the child from entering into the child's life?
Yes.
And also on top of that, he's like not really making an effort besides wanting praise for certain things.
Yeah, it seems like he's like wanting to get back with OP now, and he's kind of like, oh, hey, like, let me try to look good in her eyes by like doing things with.
But he's not even really trying to make something work with the son.
Exactly.
It's like, it feels like performative.
100. I think that's exactly what it is.
I think like, yes, the soberness is a step towards the right direction. I think there needs to be consistency. The fact that he's not responding for months at a time is a huge red flag.
That's absolutely insane.
But I want to know what everyone else would do. Put your answers below.
Oh, and this is also submitted by an incredible OKOP fan, Global Base 9359. If you want to submit your stories, you can go to r/OKOP show. That's where this one is from. Throw your stories in there. We love reading them. So